Welcome! It is Saturday. It is the 2022 version of July the 9th. And I forgot my headphones. But you're back here with me, Sean Butler, at the Spurs Talk Show. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Sorry for the slight delay. Was having a little chinwag backstage. My fault. My apologies. What are we going to talk about today? There's not a lot of news out, so we're going to kind of ebb and flow and go whichever way the wind takes us. But for what it's worth, there is some stories out about Jack Clarke. He's finally leaving Tottenham with a potential final value of about 10 million quid. Potentially, if the guy ends up playing well, we could get most of our money back for him. Steven Bergwijn is also out the door for 26 million quid. And despite that, we still have a list of 24 foreign players, each of whom you could consider part of a first team squad, but only 17 can make it into the Champions League European squad. So how do we shake and bake that one? We're going to figure that out. We are also going to be talking about Richarlison having his little first introduction into the Spurs training squad and how he said hello to Mr. Romero. We're also going to talk about the fury that's happening in the Twitter space right now as Tottenham have changed their shirt numbers. They've changed the squad numbers. People are losing their minds. 50-year-old men, 60-year-old men demanding their money back because Romero has changed his number after they bought their brand new shirt with a name and a number on the back for £95. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about that? Listen, also, last but not least, we're going to be talking a little bit about whether or not we think that the job is done. The transfer's kind of finished. We've got Jez Spence about to come in. We've just got Longley. Who's left? We're going to discuss that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday night and the Spurs Talk Show. Oh, it starts right now. Lovely touch from him though. Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, can you do something, please? Last chance, Matt Doherty! Oh, you shite! There could be from the dead to the don't fuck it up now, Go and win it! Let's go for chance! Steven Bergwijn through! Win it, Steven! Come on! Yes! He's won it! He's gonna win it! Oh my God! Oh my God! We did it! Everybody doing? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a different style of show today. And by the way, I'm sweating slightly. One small part, if you're a cocktail of why I'm sweating, one little shot of unhealthiness. 2 parts heat, 3 parts sauna that this room is with all of the different electronics and lights that's going on. I'm turning on the aircon for the first time in this season, this year. You know what I'm saying to the energy companies? I'm saying, fuck you. I'm going to wear the cost because I can't wear the sweat any longer. Come, baby, baby, come. What is crack-a-lacking? We're going to do a different style of show today. We are going to bring on myself, Mr. My man. I'm going to bring him in just a second. And we're going to start out with what we're going to do today. We are going to get through all the news, views, and transfer clues on this wonderful Saturday evening. Overheated Saturday evening. There's 100 people watching. What's crack-a-lacking? Why aren't you outside having barbecues? I love the fact you're not. Maybe it's because you're overweight, a little bit like me, and can't stand the heat. I could never be Don Paratici's friend. I could never be cooking in the kitchen because I can't stand heat, so I've got to get out. But what we're going to do, me and my man are going to work through the stories, but we're also going to be starring every single question that you guys want to throw our way. So it's kind of like a Q&A session. If you have any questions, just stick them in there. We're going to get through them, and we are going to talk with you, the people, the fans that make the channel possible. And hopefully we can see where we go and see if we can develop our ideas. Before I bring the man in, I just want to say for a moment that I apologize to anybody out there who has seen my behavior over the last week. Right, I've been on a few different streams. I've had an argument on this stream. I've had an argument on the Irish Hotspur. I've had an argument on SpursTalkShow. And I'm someone that encourages debate, but I'm not someone that is proud of the fact when things overheat. And so I just want to quickly say to anyone who was watching those shows or wasn't aware, I've had a bit of a rough time in my private life with my businesses, and it's maybe the stress of that stuff has come over the top and has resulted in a bit more of an antagonistic version of me. And it's something that I'm not happy with. I've watched the things back, and whilst I've spoken and made up and had various conversations with each of the people that have been involved, it's not something that I'm okay with on a personal level. And so I do apologize to them for my part in whatever the various discussions were. And I apologize to anyone that may have been a little bit put out or disappointed if the shows that they had tuned into were overtaken by conflict. Conflict is good as long as it's controlled, and I don't think it has been this week where I've been involved. So I apologize to everyone. I'll do better. I'm going to try and do better. And I'm trying to learn. I watch the streams, but I usually don't like watching the streams back, but I am watching the streams back a little bit more now to make sure that when I come off streams feeling like I'm pissed off with people or aggravated or angry, I watch it back and go, actually, maybe I see it from their point more. So just want to get that out of the way today, especially. I know I went onto his show last night and put in a chat, and I know that he also apologized for his part on it at the start of the show. So I want to take the same opportunity right now to say that me and Dave are like besties in the community, and it was not cool of us to do that. And it certainly wasn't cool of me to do that on his stream. So apologize to him, apologize to any of the viewers. Let's put it to one side. Forgive me. I'm going to do better and learn and grow in the process. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the guest of the show. I don't think we need to do the guest selection. You know who it is. But we're going to do the knock at the door anyway. I think there's someone at the door. Who can it be? Who can it be? Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the audacious one, the man who used to put numbers in his name and still continues to audaciously put numbers in his name. My man, my mate, my legend. Please welcome to the show, Keeper 99.
Right.
Oh. Hey, doing, Coop?
Yeah, not too bad, Sean. Not too bad. What's all this about air conditioning, though? That's what I want to know. Air conditioning. My air conditioning's a window. You say aircon, and I'm thinking a budget, bootleg version of a Nicolas Cage film.
No. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
Hang on, isn't that Forrest Gump?
That was a little bit Forrest Gump, but yeah, it was. Yeah, what like Nick Cage in that movie and Forrest Gump, that like kind of based on the same.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Yeah, I get it. I think it should be a fusion of that.
Put the bunny back in the box. I kept on running.
Mama said life is box of bodies.
That's hilarious. How you doing, man? I see you shaved your head. You've gone grade one.
Because it's insanely hot and I can't stand it.
Yeah.
You know, and so as we all know, summer's the time for sort of reenactment of sort of the neo-Nazi sort of thing, isn't it?
No,
wait, that was on air, wasn't it? No, it's just too hot, mate. It's relief. It feels so much better getting rid of the hair.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. Although you didn't, your hair wasn't that long before. So do you actually notice a difference by shaving off and going one step closer? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I might do the same then. I might embrace it. Because you know what? I wear a hat these days because I'm essentially going bald and I just haven't caught up with it long enough. So maybe I might just embrace the whole thing and just go. You'll
be onto bald head and goatees in no time, mate. You don't go back from that.
Good to see you, man. Let's find out who is in the comments. Starting off with my man, a member, Carl Simpson. What's happening, my friend? Good to see you, buddy. By the way, guys, if you do want to join us as a member, you can. You can find us in the community section. Go to the Spurs Talk Show YouTube page, and you can join. No pressure, never any pressure. But if you do want to show support for the channel, then there's two options. You can join as a Spurs Talk Show puppy and a Spurs Talk Show pony, both of which will get you access to the StreamYard link to come in and have a conversation on most shows. I think maybe today we'll see how it goes, but I might put it out there to see if anyone wants to come on and say hello. But certainly as the season gets on, all of the kind of fan phone-ins and the match reviews and the previews, all that stuff will be done and driven through the community page. And as a puppy or a pony, you do get access to both. There is going to be a difference. Other things are available for the ponies, and that will come out in due time. There's 121 people that are here right now. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, because the one thing you can tell about this channel is we don't even know when we're going to go live. I certainly just see what happens with my day and then figure things out as I go from there. And so if I don't know, then you can't know. So just hit the notification bell and you'll know in good time, like most of these people, I'm assuming, already have. Good to see you, Carl. Lukey164 Spurs in the house. What's happening, Lukey? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see Carl Higgins. Good evening, Sean and fellow years. What's happening? THFC Brown saying good afternoon, people. Getting my new car with adaptions in September, meaning I start going to Spurs games and again. Haven't been since COVID. I can't wait to cheer on the boys. Nice, my friend. Nice. My number one member. My number one on your bike, Scott. How are you, my friend? What's crack-a-lacking to you, buddy? What's happening to you? What we're going to do, though, guys, we are going to be we're going to walk through these hellos to everyone. And when there's really interesting questions, so I encourage everyone to get your questions in, and then Kuva and I can chew through it as we go through. So I'm going to say hello to everybody, and then we're just going to work through the questions and talk about what there is in the news. And there is some things we've got to talk about. And I've got a little bit of a dangly bum fluff that I need to pull my hat back a little bit to cover up. And it's happening today. Good to see you, Lynch616. He's saying, hope to see a fish slap around your face tonight, Sean. This is about whether or not the fella from Manchester United, the West Ham player, what's his name, who was going to come to Spurs?
Oh God, I've forgotten his name as well now.
I know
Jesse Lingard.
Jesse Lingard, and whether or not he officially ever played as a left wing back. All I need to do is find one occasion where he played as a left wing back.
You're going to clip a throw in that he takes there, aren't you?
Listen. I haven't done the research yet, Lynch. I know you keep bringing this up. I'm not going to forget. I will do the research. I promise. How about this? Give me a week from now. I haven't looked into it. Give me a week. I will look into it. And if I can't find any like positions, any tactical boards with him playing as a left wing back, I will buy a fish from the fishmongers, and I'll get someone to slap it around my face live on air. Although I'm convinced he's played left wing back, but I haven't looked into it. Catman Jess is in the house. Big up Sean and Bugsy Malone. Big up all the Spurs Talk Show ponies and puppies. What's happening? Catman Jess, another member. Good to see you, my friend. Louis 2705 afternoon, Sean. Kyle Patrick Vineyards also in the house. KPV. What's happening? What's crack-a-lacking? SOF. is in the house. Evan Perotta is also in the house. Reggie not traveling to Korea. I've started this one. We're going to come back. Well, let's talk about it as we go through. Coov. I guess this is part of the story about the 17 versus the 24 list. Is there truth in that? Have you heard this? Reggie's not traveling to Korea?
No, I've been busy with lots of different things today, so not heard the latest news. So I think that the squad is certainly announced, though, isn't it? It would tie in with the overall consensus that Reguilon's out of Conte's plans, really. He didn't get a lot of game time, certainly the second half of the season. It would make sense that he might be on the brink of a move to me.
And if so, are you happy with the left wing back if he's going to be moving off? Are you happy with having two recognised left wing backs in Perisic and Sessegnon, and maybe Doherty if he's can play in the kind of the utility role? Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm more keen to see us getting a right wing back because, as you just said at the end of that, Doherty is the key bit there. He offers some cover on the left as well as the right. So I think we're okay on the left side. Yeah. But you know very well I'm not a very good Emerson Royale fan. So that's where I want to see the cover being brought in. Well, not cover, but a proper first teamer. Even if it does turn out to be Jed Spence, just somebody with the potential to do the right thing, because I don't see it in Emerson. I don't see him beating his man. I don't see him putting crosses in. Not good ones anyway. Possibly from Jed Spence. Who knows? I'd prefer somebody bigger name than that or more established anyway. But let's see. I think Reguilon is pretty much out the door though for me. And
it looks as though Jed Spence is pretty much in the door, and we're going to talk about that in a moment when I bring up the news. Let me just crack through a few more people that are saying hello, Coov, and then we're going to come back to any more questions. Also, is he giving Brian Hill a chance? Well, according to Evan Pirotta, Lo Celso, Tanguy, Winks, and Reggie are not travelling. So maybe that means Brian Hill is. I'm going to star that one, mate, and come back to it. KM Hong, good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Roman numerals is in the house. Too bad about Reginald. It must be the same news. I haven't even seen it. I haven't found any links about that. I've just got a list from a few days ago. But there's nothing that's come out today. So if I missed it a few days ago, then so be it. It's very interesting. Lee from the Lane is here saying, "What's up, Shawnee, mate? I hope you're well. I'm good, my friend. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm trying to navigate some stresses in the personal stuff, but I'm good, my friend. Let me see who else is here. I haven't said hello to yet. Here you go. SOF is saying Brian Hill and Pape Sarr is in the squad, Coover. That's interesting because he was on one of the lists. He was on one of the 5 names. And we're going to talk about this. I know it's a bit scrippy, written on the back of a packet of cigarettes kind of stuff, but I have got all the names written down, so we're going to talk about that in a minute. Good to see you, SOF. Paul Holden's in the house. Spurs May 68. Big up, Sean. Good to see you. Good to see you too, my friend. And Team Mission as well. Hi, Sean. Hope you're doing okay, mate. I am, man. I'm good. Thank you, buddy. King Hoddle's in the house. Stephen is saying, evening, what's the Spurs news today? Not a lot of new news, mate. Not a lot of new news. It's kind of just a little bit of updates on certain transfers and that sort of thing. Apart from Jack Clark. We'll talk about Jack Clark now then, seeing as KM Hong's brought it up. Coov, 2 million. He's saying 2 million plus 8 million on add-ons. I think that's in line with what Ali Gold has said. We paid 10 million for him, didn't we? About 4 years ago. So we can't, if he does well at Sunderland, then we're going to get our money back. If he doesn't, we're at least going to reciprocate, or not reciprocate, we're going to receive about 20% of the money back. Are we just happy to get rid of him?
Mind you, the rate of inflation, that's probably worth about 40p next week. It's something had to happen because it was just a complete waste of our time and the players' time in being here. So, I think it's, as I've said a few times, and I think most people are of the same opinion. He's just reeks of him being one of those Levy speculative punts where he hoped the value would go up very quickly, sell them on. Didn't work out, and we've had a few of those. Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk more about that in a second. Certainly wish him well, though. It's not good to see any player wasting their career.
Well, Sunderland, yeah. I mean, listen, Sunderland's not. The way that he's been portrayed, I've never really known too much, but the way he's been portrayed over the last 5 years is that the guy was just an absolute, we paid a lot of money for him, but he was just rock bottom, basement, barrel level, dredging stuff. And yet to get a move to Sunderland, he must be okay. Like he must be.
Drop down a level. It solves the problems for a lot of players, doesn't it? So, how much would Skip have struggled if he went straight into the first team without that year at Norwich?
Yeah.
Good move. Get some money out of it. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, 100%. Paddy Higgins is here. Good to see you, my friend. He said, who else had an ear-to-ear grin watching Romero and Richarlison in the canteen? Yeah, I'm going to talk about that, but I'm going to star it, mate, because for anyone that I was talking this with Kuba backstage, my opinion on Richarlison is probably not the same as a lot of other people's. I'm super worried about what his involvement is going to be, but seeing that stuff today is chipping away at my argument significantly. So I'm really happy to see it, because if I'm right, I don't want to be right. I'll be devastated if I'm right on my opinion, and I certainly won't celebrate it. If I'm wrong, then happy days, and I hope that he fits in and gets on with everybody, and he's a wonderful part of the dressing room. I still am not sure he's going to be, and how he's going to deal with not playing as many minutes as he wants. And if he does play more minutes than I think he will, I don't know how that's going to impact other players like Sonny and Kulu and Kane. And it's an interesting experiment that Conte has paid the big money to figure out. But we're going to talk about that, mate. We're going to talk about it. So good to see you, Paddy. Catman Jess is in the house. What's happening, Catman? He's saying Richarlison looking at home already. Yeah, quite possibly. We're going to talk about that as well. I got Cooper, Gulf Coast Hotspur here. He's saying, hey, Sean, what do you think about the report of the players staying in England? Yeah, see, I haven't seen this report. Guess I need to find it out. But if anyone can summarize it more than what K.M. Hong has already done, or Evan Pirotta, if there's other players that are... I'm actually a bit nippy now. I can turn this down. A bit cold. Turn it off. It's lovely, isn't it? I might put a jumper on for a minute.
You're inspiring hatred here, mate. You better watch yourself.
100%.
We can have a full-blown argument over your bloody air conditioner.
If this happened a few days ago, then 100%, but not today. I'm under a new regime. Chris is in the house saying Tangy on them fat ass and Giola shit show and Stinks left out of the squad. It's bye-bye for them. 3, I am thinking. Yeah, maybe, mate. Maybe, well, I hope so. But listen, I don't know where they're going to go. We've got to speak about that. Marlon Green's in the house saying, afternoon, Shawnee. Good afternoon, my friend. How you doing? Spursy Stevie's saying, regarding the shirts, glad I'm skint. I'm still saving. Yeah, he didn't want to get ripped off by that one. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Lynch is saying, intro's epic. I appreciate it, my friend. Ellie's in the house saying, hey, Sean, you look sad or angry. I'm not sure. We are Tottenham and we are the best. We are the Tottenham. So the rest can go and disappear. I had to make the song cleaner, Sean. I'm not sad. I'm not sad, Ellie. I do appreciate you've been reaching out to me a lot. I'm not sad. I'm just clarifying and explaining because I wasn't particularly fond of my the way I've come across in the last week, and so it's important to own that shit when it goes wrong. We're all human, right? So HMQ's in the house. What's happening, HMQ? Haven't seen you before, buddy. He's saying boom. King Hoddle was here. Elias Rotus. What a name. Rotzi? Elias Rotis? I don't know. Good to see you, man. Welcome to the channel. Adam Phillips is here. Great intro, but need to trim that down. Okay. Most other channels, Adam, have got like either a 10-minute waiting clock or they do like a 5-minute wait clock, then they do their intro. Mine is 2 minutes. So, I'm not sure you're talking about my rant before the video. I don't know what you're talking about. But fair, I'll take it all. I'll take all the feedback. It's all good. Can't please everybody. Let's have a look. Who else we said hello to? Mick Hermaluck is in the house. What's happening, Mickey? Big up Ellie. He's saying, Kev G's also here saying, I'm outside watching on the Lappy. Nice. Louis Crypto is in the house. I'm having a barbecue right now. I'm in the kitchen preparing burgers and watching you. Nice, my friend. Enjoy those burgers. I hope they're tasty as hell. Who else have I got? Who else have I got here to say hello to? It's 42 degrees in the Gulf Coast. Where's the Gulf Coast? That's Mexico way, isn't it? Like between Florida and Mexico, is that right? I think it is. I think it's like in the kind of inner part, in that inner, like you've got Mexico on the west coast and you've got Florida on the. I think it's like that thing that wraps around like Louisiana and all that kind of. I think, but maybe I'm wrong.
So no, surely that's going to be the Caribbean, isn't it? Because there's Jamaica's due south of America, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but there's a bit America, the south coast.
Yeah,
of America
somewhere else.
somewhere else.
Football related. Get it out of here.
It sounds hot. It sounds super hot. Where are we up to? Oh, just lost my place. I just lost my place. Let's get to it. I think this is the part where I was explaining. We all get stressed, man. Enough of that. Let's get on with it. Sweaty, good man, Lynch. No man, I get you. No need for excuse. Appreciate this. Daryl Bradford, what's happening, my friend? Good to see you. Scrycar ready. Love that. We've all been here. Appreciate that, man. Paul's here. All good, Sean. Just passionate debating from all sides. No harm done. Thank you very much. I'm going to move on from this stuff. Young Puddy's in the house. What's happening, Young Puddy? Grant Davison is here saying, come on, soppy bollocks. All right. Love it. Paul Longworth's in the house as well. As is Dan Coys, as is Marlon Green. Where are we getting to? Spursy Steve, Catman, Daryl Bradford. I'm gonna get on with this. Where is it? Legacy Sports Cards 704. It's an interesting name. Takes balls to apologise to the platform. Well done. I appreciate that, man. Let's go again. 100%. Hannes London is saying, I think Milinkovic-Savic is a must sign. We need creativity in our midfield. With Basuma and Milinkovic-Savic, we would have the best midfield in the league. Kuvi Groove, what do you think about Milinkovic-Savic? You think it's possible? I think it's probable.
He's an incredible player. If we did sign him, we'd certainly have one of the best midfields in the league. You'd still have to look at City because they do have De Bruyne, but Milinkovic-Savic, he is right up there, top quality player. Sounding like Harry Redknapp there. Terrific. He can do it all. He really can do it all. It'd be a hell of a signing, but it'd cost a bomb, surely.
Do you think he's going to move this summer?
No idea.
I mean, how much? I'm trying to find out how much he's worth. He looks like Sergio. Hang on a second. Looking at the news here. Arsenal told why they should prioritise Milinkovic-Savic transfer over Yuri Tillemans. Paul Merson prefers Milinkovic-Savic. So it looks like all the transfer speculation today, or over the last few days, is saying, well, it's basically Paul Merson. Paul Merson is saying they should go and buy him.
Oh,
but you know what? It's like,
that's the pinnacle of sports media. Yeah. Paul Merson. Yeah. Old Sniffy says they need.
He would cost 3-4 times as much as Yuri Tillemans, wouldn't he? Like, it's madness to think you get.
Well, if it's Arsenal's transfer policy, then I think perhaps he might actually be right, because they're dreaming if they think they can even get Tillemans. So if you're dreaming anyway, dream big.
100%.
And they'll end up with another one that, sounds like a player that used to be good a few years ago.
100%, mate. Let's carry on. So there's a lot of people here that want to say hello to Kuva right now. Ellie's saying hello to Kuva. Paul Holden saying Kuva. Marlon Green. Mick. Carl, you said you've had it cut off. Marlon Baldy Kuva.
Oh, yeah.
164. I'm glad you apologised to Dave, the Irish Hotspur. A lot of time for him. Top guy. Yeah, listen, man. Me and Dave are good mates again. It's all good. Barbers have knocked the barbers knocks. Damn fine haircut. Look at that clean hair. They love it, mate. Everyone's saying hello to you. Bit of casual fascism there from Kuva. I think that's going back to your. You wouldn't know a miss at a far right march for sure,
or a wrestling convention perhaps as well. People are always saying, "Oh, I've forgotten the wrestlers they keep comparing me to," but it's all good. A good bit of fun anyway.
100%. OCD Whiskey's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. We got a super chat here from loves music. Once say, hi guys, Korea team has been announced. It has, but I haven't seen it. I don't know where this is. I can't find the link. Cooper, can you have a look?
It'll be on Spurs official. It must be.
Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. We're going to pull this up in a minute. We're going to pull it up in a minute. Where am I? 102 degrees here in Texas. Fuck that. That's ridiculous. Who else am I said hello to? Sebas Wolf's in the house. What's happening, my friend? Young Ho Kim is also in the house. Leah Cooper saying evening Sean and Cooper double trouble on a Saturday night. I hope that's what's going to happen. Joseph Monahan's here. Coys, what do you want for wingbacks? What do you want for wingbacks, Cooper?
Who do I want for wingbacks?
Who do you want for wingbacks? Yeah, sorry.
Well, I mean, the dream signing is obviously Hakimi. He's the best right wing back in the world.
It's not going to happen, though, is it? He's not going to happen, though, right? So
why not? I get fed up with this attitude amongst the fans, and I'm telling you off for it now.
Okay.
Why are things always impossible? They can't happen. Why not just actually have a try and see what does happen? PSG need to start balancing the books at some point. They can't just keep on with this endless spend and not eventually have to sell players. We put in a bid that's high enough and it might get accepted. He might turn us down still, but you never know unless you try.
And how big is big enough?
I don't know. I don't know how much money's available, mate. If it was me and there was 100 million left to spend, chuck 100 million bid on it. I'll happily blow the budget on him.
On him, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck everything else. We'll figure out the centre back spot.
Get the best right wing back in the world. Yeah, that sorts a hell of a lot of problems in.
Don't forget
we got Perisic anyway. So if we get problems in certain other positions, he'll play there because he can play anywhere and still look great. Sorted. Blow the budget on Hakimi. Let's get it done. Come on, Levy, do it now.
But so let me again, not trying to start an argument here, but this is part of my contention about spending 60 million quid on Richarlison. Because you're right, none of us know what the budget is, but what we can say categorically is whatever the budget was, it's 60 million quid lighter than it was before we signed Richarlison. Is that fair?
Yeah, well, of course. But I mean, that's I don't see the issue really. To me, there's certain positions we had to fill. We definitely needed Richarlison, and he's the going rate, unfortunately. Everton wants 60 million, you pay 60 million. You've got to assume that part of the deal is going to be offset somewhat by Dele Alli and possibly Harry Winks. Looks like he's on the move as well. So if you look at it in relative terms, then it's really not a big deal. There should be plenty of funds still available.
Yeah. Okay. Press pause on it because I think we're going to talk a bit more about that because I do think we need to dig into that a little bit, right? We are getting rid of Bergwijn and Harry Winks has been left out of the squad, and if Reguilon has too, that must tell us something, right? So I'm gonna keep bouncing through some of these. Can you spend a couple of seconds seeing if you can get a link on the squad news for the trip to Korea on Tottenham Hotspur official, or if it's on Twitter or anything, because it'd be interesting to go through and then compare and contrast it to my little piece of scrap paper here that I've made earlier.
Yeah, I'll just send you the link. I'll put the link in the private chat so you can bring it up when you want them.
Nice one. Distiller 85 is saying it's refreshing not hearing that one of our top players.
There you go.
Is leaving this summer. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Kobe is in love with Kuva. He is. Somebody else thinks young Puddy thinks you look like Bam Bam Bigelow. All you need to have is some tattoos over your head, like the flames.
Bigelow. I'll know the name. I can't remember what he looked like.
Oh, he had flake, and he used to dive off the top rope with his arms behind his back and his headbutt. Like it was like a fake headbutt from the top rope. Bam Bam Bigelow.
Sounds like a quality bloke already.
He used to wear like flaming lycra. It was brilliant. Yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow. Good looky lucky. Good doppelganger there, young Puddy. I appreciate that one, my friend. Jason Grows in the house. What's happening, Jace? He's saying big up, Jez. Big up, mate. Get up. I love your shirt, man. I've always loved your shirt that you're wearing on Will Stewart's channel as well. Daryl Denton's here. He's saying, don't call summer silly season for nothing. Yeah, it's ridiculously hot. Who else? Somebody said, Luke the drummer is in the house. How you doing, man? I like your beat. Claude Murphy's here as well. What's happening, my friend? Alpash Patel is saying still need that central midfielder to run the games in the centre. I think we do. Ellie's saying, Jason, lovely to see you in the chat, my man. Yeah, it must be late where they are over in Australia. Let me get through HMQ. No, we said hello to you. I complain a lot, THE. Is this live now? Yes, this is live right now, my friend. We are live right now. Spursy Steve is also saying hello. Heard Trevor Sinclair on Colwyn. Is that Chris Calwyn, I think you mean, earlier saying Trevor Sinclair was on Chris Cowlin's channel? Interesting. Talking about out to favour players on tour to put them in the shop window. Conte, no, you ain't in my plans. That's it. Respect. Oh, okay. So what you're saying. So he's saying everybody else, every other club will take their players that they're trying to get rid of and put them out there in the pre-season friendlies to give them some shop window time. But Conte's saying, not today. How do you feel about that one?
I think that's fair enough. I look at the likes of Brian Hill, though. I think, is Conte convinced by him? Not yet. I think he may be using the pre-season to have another look at him and decide: am I going to get something out of this player, or does he need to go on loan again, or do we get rid of him? I don't think he's had enough time to really assess him yet, which is fair enough. I think who's the youngster? Papa Sarr. He hasn't seen him at all with the Spurs team, so got to have a look at the player. I mean, if you don't even do that, then it really is a pointless signing. So just give him free license, go out and enjoy himself. Show the boss what he can do. If he can catch his eye a bit, who knows? Might feature in the squad at some point. I think it's more likely he's going to go out on loan again, but we'll wait and see. I think the obvious statement is the ones left at home. If you're left at home, you're either getting sold or you're injured. I can't see any other reason for it.
So we've got the list here. Thanks for sending that through, Coop. Hugo Lloris, Fraser Forster, Brandon Austin, the other goalkeeper, and Josh Keeley, all 4 goalkeepers going. And then we've got Davinson Sanchez, Romero, Dyer, Tanganga, Malaki Fagan Walcott. I'll be honest with you, I've never even heard that guy's name before. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, just these development player, one of the youngsters. Okay. Yeah.
Ben Davies, Charlie Sayers, youth player. Matt Doherty, Emerson. So Matt Doherty's fit. He's fit then. Is that what we're supposed to assume from that? He's back and ready to play. That's amazing.
If he wasn't fit, he'd surely be getting treatment and rehab, wouldn't he? So
that's amazing news. That is incredible news. That's such a quick recovery from what is a serious injury. When that injury only happened in late April, didn't it? Okay,
obviously it wasn't as serious as we first feared, because I remember wincing at it at the time, and I thought, that's it. ACL's gone. He's out for a year.
Yeah.
But
100%.
Good to see him back. I know people don't rate him. I mean, at first I didn't rate him, but I admire the bloke, the way he went away, took all the criticism on board. He owned up to it and said, I haven't played well. Went away, worked on his game, came back and became really useful for the squad. So he's earned his place for next season's squad, as far as I'm concerned.
And whilst we're on it, Kuv, if let's presume we sign Jed Spence, and let's presume that all 3 of them are fit at the start of the season, and all 3 of them have trained well. I know there's a lot of assumptions here. Who do you think starts against Southampton?
If all training well and all fully fit, I think we might see Matt Doherty start and Jed Spence get phased into it a little bit.
Oh, so you genuinely are you saying this because you hope this is the case, or you think this is the case that Royale is probably?
I hope this is the case. If Conte genuinely rates Royale as his right wing back, then I'm a little bit concerned, because he must be able to see he's not good going forward, and that's an essential part of his system. So he might like the idea of Royale. Perhaps he is looking at longer term, perhaps turning him into the sort of backup, sort of dogged defender to play. Maybe.
Well, there's going to be. Cool. There's going to be a lot of games next season where we need to play the 5. There's going to be more games next season where we probably have to play the 5-4-1, that kind of the same style that we play against Man City and play against Liverpool or Chelsea, especially away from home. there's going to be probably at least 3 or 4 more of those types of games in the Champions League, right? If we get drawn against Munich, or if we get drawn against,
but
what
I don't see any problem with getting a proper footballer to come and do the defending as well. I don't think you need to have a specialist defender and a specialist attacking wing back. Players can do both. Perisic isn't going to struggle when he needs to stay back and defend, is he?
Yeah, 100%. All right. Yeah, I agree with you. It's an interesting one, though. I'm not listening. I don't know because I'm just going off of my personal opinion. I think that Emerson Royale, there is a player there. I don't dislike him as much as everybody else does, and I also, and I'll take it with a pinch of salt because it was the agent that said it, but his agent did come out and say that that he's happy at Tottenham and that Conte has told him he's quote unquote number one choice. So you would think that his agent would he make up a statement like that if it was completely untrue, knowing that might have some sort of negative knock-on effect towards Matt Doherty or towards Jed Spence? Like, do you think that there was any truth to what the agent was saying, that Emerson Royale is his first team choice next season?
I think agents regularly talk a whole load of bollocks, to be honest. So I read nothing into that. He's probably just bigging up his player a bit, just making sure people know, as far as he's concerned, he's a quality player. So, but then
the opposite then can't be true as well, right? Because if Emerson Royale had been told that he's not going to be first team choice, then the agent would probably be talking up a move. And in doing what he's done, he's probably kind of put the brakes a little bit on the enthusiasm that may have come from Atletico Madrid or one of the other Spanish clubs that were looking at Emerson.
Perhaps.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Being cynical, perhaps the agent's just trying to, generate the interest and get the fee up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's an interesting point. Okay, we'll move on and we can come back to it later if necessary. Then we've got Bentancur, obviously, that's good to see. Basuma's great to see. Pape Matar Sarr, that's interesting because he's one of the list. He's one of my list of if there's 17 players that can be foreign and there's 23 or 22 that are currently in the squad that are foreign, I put down Sarr as one of the names that wouldn't be that wouldn't make the 17, that would be cut. So what are your thoughts on him being put in there? Do you think it's his chance to prove himself, or do you still think he'll get loaned out, or what do you think will happen with this guy?
I think it will be astonishing if he features in the squad next season. But I do think Conte is open to just having a look at a player and just see what they can do with the current squad and see if they can perform. Because he might catch Conte's eye, and if that happens, who knows? He might just force his way in at somebody else's expense that we're not expecting. You've got to have a look at players. If you're going to sign these players, give them a little bit of a run out at least.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, in the comments, I can see the comments flying through. We're coming to the end. I'm going to take the screen down in a second, and I'm going to bring all the comments back up. So forgive me for not engaging. I'm just trying to get through this list. It's the first time I've seen it, and I appreciate you guys bringing it to my attention. Obviously, Højbjerg makes sense. Skippy makes sense. Good to see him back from injury. Cove, right? It's he obviously spent a long time out there, and he's a young fella. Hopefully, there's no more legacy issues with that. Correct?
Yeah. Well, certainly hope so. Anyway. If he's there, he's got to be thereabouts, hasn't he, for playing again? So hopefully it's him getting the green light for the rest of the season.
Yeah, 100%.
He's going to struggle for a bit of game time this season because there's fierce competition now, isn't there? So he needs to be fully fit and ready to take his opportunity when he gets it. So hopefully he does. Yeah, the fact that he's come on so much over the last year or so. Is good because all the other players will have to be on their toes as well. Competition, we need it.
I got a sneaking feeling that if he comes back in and can have grown a little bit, just in age and maturity, and I feel like he's like Mason Mount is always spoken about as being the dream trainer, a dream for a manager to work with. He absorbs everything like a sponge. I kind of feel like Oliver Skipp might be a similar sort of entity, and I think it's going to be interesting to see if he can still get game time this season in big games, injuries aside, and he's not just used for the early rounds of the cup and for the the easier games at home or whatever, then it should be it's a massive season for this guy. What I want us to talk about next quickly, Kuva, is interesting. Harvey White's in the team, right? And Troy Parrott makes the squad. Brian Hill makes the squad. I'll speak about him separately in a second. All these guys, Charlie Sayers makes the squad. Malachi, Fagan, Walcott make. Where's Alfie Devine?
Well, he's still very young, isn't he? Perhaps they've got other plans. Are there any tournaments going on otherwise, or something like that he might be involved in? I don't know, mate.
Interesting.
I would have thought he'd be there otherwise, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Perhaps it is purely the age and thinking he's best employed somewhere else. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll figure out. If anyone's got any comments on that, let me know in the comments. Well, when I come back to the comments, I'm actually going to start in reverse chronological order and figure my way back up so I can get more relevant stuff. I promise you I'll get to everyone's comments in just a second. Whether I get to...
Oh, there's no Dane Scarlett there either, is there? And they were both playing for England in the tournament recently, weren't they?
Correct. Yeah, that's a good point. Really good point. That must be what it is there. There must be they're having a bit of a break before. Maybe they haven't had a holiday yet, perhaps, or something.
That makes sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Okay. So nothing to worry about there with Devine and Scarlett. It's interesting. And then last surprise one. Oh, actually, no. Brian Hill as a surprise. Is that are you happy to see him? He was also on my list of one of the 3 or 4 that would probably not be on, not make the 17. So. What are your thoughts with Brian Hill? Do you still think I know how you feel about him. I think I feel the same. Do you still think this is more of like a shop window exercise to try and get him alone? Or maybe this is a last chance opportunity to impress, see what happens? What are your thoughts there?
I think it's a last sort of opportunity to impress because he hasn't had much of a chance really so far. Things have progressed. We've got a different shape to the squad now, or different personnel certainly. He might be just giving him good run out, get familiar with playing with the same players again, see what he can do. He did quite well on loan, didn't he? So we know he's got some talent. Is he going to make it on for us full time? I don't see it myself, but this might be an opportunity for him. Perhaps it is that sort of look to adjusting him to a more central role, perhaps being the sort of creative spark at some point. But even if he does that, I don't.
Really interesting.
Even if he does, I don't see him being a regular starter anyway. So I think this is going to be more a point of showing him he's not forgotten and he's still in the shop window if we do get a decent offer for him. Yeah. But he needs to have a bit of experience playing amongst the players again, doesn't he? It's clearly he's higher up the pecking order than the likes of Ndombele.
Yeah, okay. So just quickly then, last one before we talk about the people that are not there. Troy Parrott had a good second half of the season away at MK Dons. What are you thinking that he is going to be? Jesus Christ, there's 100 comments I need to get back through, and there's 276 people that are in the show. That's amazing, guys. If you haven't already, please hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell. Please show some support for the channel and Kuva as I'm going. This is all Kuva's opinions right now. I'm just trying to get Kuva's take on all this stuff. I'm going to go in reverse. Actually, you know what? Fucking hell, there's some super chats as well I've got to get through. Kuva, just quickly, Troy Parrott, yes or no? You think he's going to play any part as a first teamer this season?
No. Another season out on loan, I think.
At what level do you think he's going to play at?
I'm hoping sort of championship level. He might manage to force himself into one of the Premiership teams, but the important thing for me is that he plays regular 90 minutes. He's not a bit part player where he goes to because it's a waste of a loan, and we need him with it getting as many minutes as possible.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Let me just before we move on, I'm going to come back to these chats, but I just want to there was a couple of super chats I want to come to quickly. Just thank you so much, Moondog. Love you, my friend. How you doing, bro? Looking forward to having your £5 bets as a discussion point every week this year. Good afternoon, Sean and Cooper. Rocking the haircut. Thank you so much again, mate, for the support for the channel. It means the world. And also Benedict Hampus. first time listener, first show of support. Mate, I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much. Hopefully you're a subscriber now as well. Come again, my bro. And stay tuned. The channel is going to be doing a lot of interesting stuff this season. We're starting, for what it's worth, guys. We are starting the pre-seasons where you can watch it live here with me, or you can we can stream it together. If you go and get the Spurs Play subscription for 45 quid from Tottenham, even if you don't want to do that, I'm sure you can stream it somewhere else. But we'll be doing the watch along here on Wednesday, and we're going to start about 11 or 10:45 in the morning UK time. And I think the game starts about an hour and a half later. So watch that right here as we get to discuss. And I can't wait. It's going to be so exciting. I'm absolutely pumped for it. Kubi Groove, let me take you. Well, before we get into, because I should spend a few minutes talking about the first 11. Like, what do you want to see? Do you want to see Tottenham start with like a first choice 11, or do you want to see it like be a bit part thing? But before we come to that question, what do you think about the players that have been omitted? And the names are obviously there's two that we've already spoken about: Alfie Devine and Dane Scarlett, and we can assume from that they're just having a rest potentially from their under 18 or under 19 England exploits where they won the trophy, and congratulations to them. But obviously the big names that were omitted, there's no Giovanni Lo Celso, there is no Tanguy Ndombele, and there was somebody else that was left off the list, and it escapes me right now. People were talking about it in the comments. I know Harry Winks. Yeah. What are your thoughts there, my friend?
Clearly players that aren't going to be featuring next season to me. It's the only thing that makes sense. Unless they're injured, but I didn't see anything about an injury for any of them. Ndombele, obviously, he's got savaged by fans over the course of the season. Gone back to Lyon, done nothing there either. I can't see any point whatsoever in continuing to persevere with him when he's just not going to live up to his any expectations. Reguilon, I feel a bit sorry for. He started off so well with us, and then he just fell away, and he's become, just not worth it anymore. So I think he needs to kickstart his career somewhere again. If we can get a decent bit of money for any of these, worth it. Lo Celso, I think he's a really good player, but he's never going to be one for us. He just doesn't seem to care about the club at all. He's happy to stroll around, looking a little bit simple at times, if some of us have been pointing out. It's just not a fit. He doesn't want to know. Not bothered in the slightest. Perhaps it's the weather. I don't know. Winks, well, his use was to us finished about 4 years ago. As soon as you got that horrendous injury, he's never looked like even recovering a fraction of the form he had before that. Should have gone a long time ago. He's got to try and rescue his career somewhere. I'm not going to throw loads of hatred at him, but I'll just wish him the best of luck. But he does need to move on.
Okay, so are we to presume though that Harry Winks, there's a lot of interest in him this year, right? It's a wildly high amount of interest according to the papers, which I think makes all of us kind of go, huh? Scratch our head a little bit, because we've seen him play, and we've seen him play badly more often than he hasn't. Do we think he's going to go to Leicester? Do we think he's going to stay in the Premier League? And if so, more important than where he goes, what sort of moolah do you think we're going to get for him? You're talking 20 million, 30 million, 10 million? Like, what's the number?
I'll be amazed if we get 30 million for him. If it was me, I mean, it's better to let these sort of players go on a free rather than keeping them around the club for no reason whatsoever. So really, any realistic sort of incoming fee, 10 million, that'll be all right. That can be used to go together with like the Jack Clark little bit of income. You can start to get somebody decent for when you add a little bit more to that. It's more important to shift them out, save the wages, let the player find a career again, and move on. I think it's harmful for the club keeping players beyond their sell-by date. Bad for the player, bad for the club. Fans don't see the point and eventually just turn on these players. In some cases, rightly so, like Ndombele.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on, Kuv. I want to ask you about the first 11 squad for the game. right? And there was a question a minute ago, when is our first pre-season friendly? And by the way, guys, the questions are stacking up and I've starred them all. So we're going to come to the questions from the community in a little while. Don't worry if you've asked a question and I've pulled it up on the screen, or even if I haven't, I've starred them and we're going to come back to it. We've got a bit of acid reflux there, Coof. I had a couple of sausages for lunch. It's already paying
the sausage.
It's already already paying dividends. Excuse me. Starting 11 then for the game on Wednesday. Someone's asking, when is the first game? It's on Wednesday. I think it's about 11:30 UK time. I think it starts. We're going to start the show here about 10 o'clock, and we're going to get really into it, pump everything up, and get really excited, as I'm sure you all will be. I'm turning the air conditioning back on again as the sweat is starting to evaporate from my skin. Cove, what do you want to see, mate? Do you want to see it's against the K-League Best 11, right? And so, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't follow the K-League. I have no idea. Will Stewart would be a good guy. I think he watches it a little bit. I don't know if anyone else does, but let's assume that the K-League Best 11 is probably tricky players, probably a bit more technique driven rather than brute power. Not to make any assumptions about, the K-League, but I don't know if that's okay, if that's a reasonable thing to suggest. What do you want? Do you want to see us start with the 11 that could be, or at some point have an 11 that could be the first team you see? Or do you think it's just going to be like 6 players from the first team and 5 players that are squad members, substitutes, youth team players, and then a constant transition? Or do you think there's going to be a period where we're going to see first team 11 on the pitch?
From my point of view, start with what Conte views as his starting 11 for the season. It's gives the event a bit of a big up in the first place. Generates some interest for the locals, all the player names that they'll be used to. And then obviously bring them off half-time, complete change like you usually do in these sorts of games. Fresh 11 on. It's all about gaining fitness and a bit of match sharpness these games, so don't read too much into it otherwise. I think they'll just want to have a bit of a sort of glamorous start with all the big names coming out so the locals get excited about it all. That's what he should be doing. It's what his sponsors will want you to be doing as well. Especially going to Korea. They're going to want to see Sonny, aren't they?
Yeah. Do you think he's going to play all the minutes?
No. I think he'll play just, in my opinion, I think he'll play a half, as will all the other players. It's just, like I said, it's all about fitness, bit of match sharpness, and just having a relaxing sort of kind of pre-season in the frame of still looking at your fitness.
Just quickly, Coof, THFC Brown's asking a big question. He wasn't on the list. No Joe Roden either.
Didn't spot him. I didn't even look. I don't care. He's a forgotten player already.
Yeah, I've got it back up in front of me again. He's not on the list. So no Joe Roden. And he wasn't involved, I don't believe, in any kind of tournament that under 19s or anything. So he's one of the other names on my list of players that would be in the foreign category. And
was he? Is Ben Davies on there? Because that'll be
Ben Davies also counts as foreign. Doesn't count as home.
Yeah, was he on the list going to Korea? Or was he? Because I mean, if he's not there either, it could be something to do with Wales.
No, Ben Davies is there. Yeah.
Oh, in that case, Rodon's ill apparently.
Oh no! Oh, sorry, Joe Rodon. Yeah, so I've just seen it now. Joe Rodon is ill, has missed out. Clement Lenglet's recent arrival means he is without the necessary documentation to travel to Korea. Hopefully, we'll see him in Israel then. And then you've got, I'm just seeing this now, Gio Lo Celso, Tanguy, Serge Reguilon, and Harry Winks will continue their pre-season preparations at Hotspur Way. Alfie Devine and Dame Scarlett have further time off following their international commitments. Okay, so we didn't need to speculate because I was zoomed in so much I didn't see the bottom 2 paragraphs.
I'm speculating anyway.
Professionalism at its finest. Eric Dyer was on the list. Ian Harper. I'm just looking at it now. Cheers, DB. What's it saying? Sorry, Johnny, I sense you beat it up when you lit leash with your opinion. Let it go. Yeah. Yeah. It's all good. It's all good, mate. It's all good. I'll talk about it another time. Appreciate that, mate. I do appreciate the feedback, though. Stuart is saying Mayhem skip. Absolutely. Another super chat here, Koo, from Tommy, from Colin, sorry, from Talk and Ball, and also now the Hotspur Hood saying, "Hey, mate, sorry, I had a work emergency, fixed it." Oh, what, are you trying to come on? Is that what are people trying to come on? Okay, nothing there. I'll come back to that in a second. And there's another super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, my man. And also, we got one of Sebas Wolf. Big up, my friend. How you doing, Sebas? He's saying Doherty only had 6 decent games in 2 years. And Emerson had been good defensively every time he played. In my opinion, he deserves more time than Doherty. Interesting. I'll take this one first and I'll give it to Kuva. For me, I think Doherty, I agree with you, Sebastian, that I think that Doherty's first season was rubbish. I think everyone's forgetting, everyone that now loves Doherty is forgetting that he did struggle in the first season. But he was playing in a different formation under 2 different managers. And then all of a sudden he got given, the green light for Conte. And he did bloody well. He was insanely good in that little period when we were scoring 4 goals, 5 goals every game. He did do significant stuff. And I think for him, the turning point, Kuv, was when he put that block in against Manchester City. If you remember, he came on in like the 88th, 89th minute against Manchester City, and Gerdogan, I think it was, smashed the ball from the D. And he was there, and he put his foot out, and he put his arms behind his back, and he celebrated. Remember, he celebrated. It might not have been Gerdogan, but he celebrated like it was a turning point for him. He was so happy because we were 2-1 up at that point, and I'm not sure if we were 2 up or 2. I think it was 2-1 up, or maybe it was 2. But he turned it round, and he was so pumped. And then we went on to win the game, and then from then on, his performances were just different level. And it takes in life is just like a sliding doors moment, right? Like if he was an inch too fast or an inch too slow or an inch too early or an inch too late, pardon the theft from any given Sunday, but like that might not have worked out, and then maybe nothing would have worked out from there. But the fact that it did, but I take Sebastian Wolf's point that he did only have that period, and it was a massively important period. But are we over exaggerating how brilliant and how important Doherty is? And are we also maybe undervaluing the fact that Emerson Royale, also had a 5-game period, a very important 5-game period. He didn't score goals like Doherty did, but he was there when we didn't have Doherty. He was suddenly there and set up as well. So could you argue that both of them had short-term, momentary, exceptional performances to get us through the tough period of the season, and yet we think of one far higher than the other?
For me, it's easy. One did well playing as a defender. The other one did well playing as a wing back. There's no comparison for me. Doherty, is 6 decent games in 2 years good enough? No, of course it's not. But at least he has shown in those recent times that he can do it, and he can have an effect in the opponent's third of the field and make things happen in the box there. He's either scored or created or had some sort of action that's led to goals. So quite a few times doing that. Emerson, on the other hand, just can't do it. He's not that sort of player. I don't know why we'd want to persevere with him. Ideally, I'd replace both. So yeah. I think.
Well, I think with Jed Spence, you really want Jed Spence, do you?
I would like to see Jed Spence and a more experienced player along. I mean, I've been bigging up Hans Hatterboer from Atalanta recently because he fits the bill. But his
stats weren't that great either, were they? When we looked at them, they weren't that spectacular. And I don't know the guy at all, so I've never seen him play. I know you have, so I'm not saying that your opinion is. I'm not dismissing it or undermining it. But when you ask about him,
yes, you are.
No, yeah, maybe a little bit. No, but his stats are like he scored, I think, 0 goals. I think he's got sod all in assists. So, if that's what we're looking for if we're looking for somebody who can do things offensively, then according to the stats, I had never seen him with the eye, so I don't know. But
he's shown a couple of seasons back, and then he got a long-term injury, and his replacement, I've forgotten that, Mailer. Danish right wing back, sort of came and took his place basically, and has been doing really well. But Hotspur was very much part of the team when Romero was there, and Atalanta were a very, very good attacking side at that point, and they linked up well. They know each other. Year left on the contract he's got, and he fits the bill. He gets up and down the wing, puts in crosses. He's aggressive. I'm pretty sure the fans named him. It was either Crazy Horse or Wild Horse, something like that. Just because he was absolutely insane at covering the ground up and down the flank all game, every game, and he just seems to tick all the boxes for me. But there's plenty out there that can do the same sort of thing. Singo, I think, is another one that worth a look. Still a bit on the young side, but again, incredibly exciting prospect.
He's going somewhere else. Is he the guy, or who's the guy at Shakhtar? Dodo or Singo?
Oh, Dodo at Shakhtar, yeah.
Because I think, he's now going somewhere else, isn't he? He's been snapped up by, they paid 14 million quid for him. Who is that guy? Is it?
Can't remember. But the point is, there's a lot out there to choose from. There's only one Hakimi at the moment, but there's a lot in a bracket just below there somewhere we could pick from. You could get people very reasonably priced as well. It comes back to the original point I was making about Leicester. Leicester have 3 right wing backs on the books at the moment. If you really want to get somebody with a bit of experience, they're there. You just go and look for them. But there we go. I just don't want to keep Royale, unfortunately. I think he obviously seems to have a nice attitude, and players like him. Conte seems to like him, does he? Perhaps, can't tell. We've only got what his agent said, really. So
yeah. We haven't seen much.
We'll
THFC Brand's actually asking you a question right now, Coop. He's saying, if Conte wants to keep Royale, what can he do to make you change your mind next season?
Start being aggressive when he goes forward. Take people on, put in a few quality crosses, maybe get a few shots off, just add to the attack in some way. He's everything he's not been managing to do this season, basically. If he can do that, well, first, I will be absolutely astonished, and second, well done to him. Yeah.
Mate, it's interesting because I think I think
to sort of embroider upon that, in the Conte system, as far as I'm concerned, it's better to start off being a winger and then convert it into a right wing back than it is to start being an out and out defender that's expected to become an attacking player. That's why the likes of Victor Moses and Ashley Young have been converted successfully to doing that role. If you don't start off with that basic talent for going forward, the basic grasp of crossing and spotting an eye for a pass in an attacking area, I don't think you can teach that very easily. But you can teach a player discipline and defending techniques and regimes.
What makes you say that you can teach one but not the other?
Well, experience playing myself and even non-league. If a player's coming up, if you get to the age of 23 and you can't cross a ball, you're never going to cross a ball.
But you think you can learn to track. I'm not questioning you. I'm just developing. So you think that? So I was of the opinion, and I was shot down for this on every stream I said it on, that I thought if Emerson Royale, if the major thing that he's missing is the ability to take on a player, and B, to cross the ball. I'm not sure if you can learn quickly enough to do the dribbling and to have that little like the feints and then the touch, because when he does his crossovers, the ball. And I criticised Emerson all year, all season. I wasn't a fan of him all season. So I'm not like, I kind of changed my mind on him a little bit when he stepped up, because Doherty stepped up. Before Doherty stepped up, everyone was Doherty fuck off as well. And then Doherty stepped up, and then everyone eventually changed their mind on Doherty and thought maybe he's playing now in the right system. And with Emerson, I was always like, the guy kicks the ball 2 yards in front of him, and there's a defender that's 12 yards away or 5 yards away, and he's doing step overs, but the ball's already two yards in front of him. He's stepping over thin air. I was like, what are you doing, bro? Doesn't make sense. Right. So I don't ever expect him to be able to have that kind of that kick the ball past and beat someone. I don't expect him to be able to learn that. But I do think with enough time, if he was just going to get, like, we've signed a set piece specialist, right? Who can teach people how to defend set pieces better, how to take on set pieces better offensively. I would have thought that someone like him, you could have had one of those machines that throws the ball out in front of you, and you run on and then just smash the ball. And if you do that 1,000 times a day, you're going to eventually trust your right foot to be able to whip. You're eventually going to be able to figure out, if you're good, like anything else, like playing tennis, playing table tennis, you're eventually going to get comfortable where it becomes repetition. And I just thought that maybe if Emerson could do that, then there is a player there. He does have incredible stamina. He does have incredible pace. Really what we just needed from him was the ability to actually put the ball into the kind of the red zone, if you like, right? And I just feel like if you're saying that you can train Jed Spence or whoever else to defend better, then why can't you train that guy just to whip balls in better? Like, surely it's just a technique. It's just something he hasn't done enough of. I'm not saying we should ever have to settle and expect that from someone, but surely it's another skill. It's just another skill, right? It's just another skill that he could learn. You right there, Koof? Is that you?
Me? Not that I know of.
Is there a channel? Yeah, it's on your side, Koof. You've got a show in the background.
Sorry, mate.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, I had something set up for another Bob's show later tonight.
Oh, and they're already in the background now.
No, I forgot. I had it sat in the background. Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
That was an interesting one.
Yeah. So do you think that there's a way we can do you think there's any hope for Emerson to be able to learn to whip the ball in, or do you just think, you know what, we shouldn't have to worry about that? Like we're Tottenham Hotspur. We shouldn't have to coach someone at this stage. These people should be able to do that stuff instinctively.
For me, attacking is natural. It's a natural flair. There's an instinct that goes with it. Defending is far more manual, teaching out of the textbook, positioning, repetition of positioning, being aware of where the dangers are and things like that. There's not the amount of freedom that goes with an attacking decision as goes with a defending decision. Defending is a lot more of a rigid, disciplined position. So if we're going to the extreme where you're saying, firing balls at somebody 1,000 times to try and improve them, then I'll go on to your later point of, we're Tottenham Hotspur. Why are we going to bother wasting our time doing that with a player when we can just go and get another player that can do the job? For me, it's pointless. I find it really silly. But
okay,
if he can prove me wrong that next season, then so be it. I'll hold my hands up. I just don't see it. I really don't. There's no natural sort of natural flair there at all for me. He looks a very sort of robotic defender to me. Not can't see how he's. Somebody's saying he got like 10 assists or something in a couple of seasons, and I just can't see how. Just not a very good footballer for me. Great athlete though. Give him that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Just quickly, we've got a super chat, Kuba. Before I'm actually gonna bring in another guest into the show. It's a man we were talking about earlier on. I'll give him a door. I'll give him a door knock. No, I'm gonna give him a respectful entrance. No, he deserves a doorbell. I definitely need to get a little video with someone kicking, like fucking headbutting the door into entrance to the music. Please welcome to the show, my man, my friend. We made up. We're good again. It is Dave from the Irish Hotspur. How you doing, Dave?
Oh, good. Oh, good. How are we, boys?
Good, my friend.
Good here. Thanks, David. How about yourself, mate?
Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing. I've seen the names left out on the pre-season tour. I mean, if their agents weren't going to find them a move out beforehand, if they weren't in a hurry to instruct them to find them a move out beforehand, well, they certainly are now.
Yeah, what are your initial thoughts, mate? We've got So the big names left off, apart from Alfie Devine and Dane Scarlett, are obviously Lo Celso, Ndombele, and Winks. But also there's some names included in there. Brian Hill's included. What are your thoughts on that? And then after, I'll get your answer on that one, and then we're going to come to Kerrian's super chat in just a second. Kerrian, I really appreciate it, buddy. Bear with me, mate, and we're going to come to it in a second. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, look, first of all, Winks, Lo Celso, Ndombele, bye-bye. Sends out a message. Absolutely love that. If I wasn't already 2 foot deep into the Paratici Conte project, I certainly am now after that shrewd move. When it comes to Brian Hill, look, quite surprised. I thought maybe he would have given a chance to prove himself, but there has been touted in over the last week or two that there has been clubs maybe interested in the loan, so maybe there could be something done there. I think Reguilon was left out as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, sorry, and Reguilon as well. Yeah. Well, yeah. What's going on with that one? You think he's because we haven't heard anything. We haven't heard about that one, have we? Haven't heard anything about him going.
That was a surprise. I thought they might have even brought him just to give him minutes, even if they do want to sell him, put him out there. But look, somewhere along the line, Antonio Conte and Reguilon have lost. I'm not sure whether they get on. Because Reguilon was first choice, and then all of a sudden, Sessegnon kind of got himself back fit, and then he comes in and he's first choice, and we've barely seen Reguilon since then. So, look, I think Madrid still have that option to buy him, I believe, if I'm correct. But look, we'll wait and see what happens with Reguilon. I was surprised with that.
Do you think he's going to go to? I mean, Madrid do have the option until I think it's July, end of the month. I think July the 31st. Is that right? I think so. I think it's an expensive buyback. But all that would really mean is we haven't paid a penny for him thus far, have we? All we've been paying is his wages. It's all been like a very weird loan deal that no one knew about until recently. So, if we get rid of Reguilon, Dave, and I'll let Cooper come out. Cooper's already given the answer that he's okay with starting the season with Sessegnon and Perisic, and then having Doherty as the utility where necessary. Are you okay with that, or do you want us to go a little bit bigger?
Look, I think when Perisic came in, I think I was always resigned to the fact that I think it was always going to be Perisic and Sessegnon. I would much rather keep Reguilon over Sessegnon. I think people know my thoughts on that. I do think Reguilon is better going forward than Sessegnon, but Sessegnon is better defensively. But now we've brought in Perisic, who is a lot better going forward than what Reguilon is. So for me, you can use Sessegnon for the games, where he's been brilliant defensively, Liverpool, City, stuff like that, and then use Perisic against the likes of Brighton and Brentford and teams like that, where we haven't been able to create anything. So I'll be happy with that. And yeah, look, Kuva made a good point there about Doherty. Look, he played over there for against Newcastle. I think he scored one, assisted one, and then he also played over there for the Republic of Ireland. Look, people say he had a good game, but for me, he had a good game for 87 minutes and let Ronaldo score 2. So I don't classify that as a good game. But look, at the same time, we know we have a swollen squad. We do have to get rid of players, and the quicker we get rid of players, the more I think you might see come in the door as well a bit more quicker. So look, we have to start offloading, and if Reguilon has to go, he has to go.
Okay. Yeah, love it, mate. Love it.
I would be happy.
I apparently missed. So sorry, Kerrian. I saw I've seen your super chat, and I was gonna come to it, mate. But there's just so many comments going. I think you put it in when we were looking at the career stuff. I do apologize, my friend, but you absolutely didn't need to send in a second super chat. Obviously, it means the world. But if ever I do miss a super chat, it's more than likely because I just haven't got a chance to get to it yet. But I really appreciate it, mate. And if you need to just send me a reminder without the super chat, and I would absolutely come to it a little bit quicker. But you are asking thoughts on Depay for 20 million, and it's a good segue. So I want to ask you both this, right? So we just got rid of Steven Bergwijn for 26, 28 million quid, however it shapes up. Having brought in Richarlison for 60 bar. At the moment, we essentially have the same amount of forwards as we did last season, where you could include Troy Parrott potentially as part of the squad now. But do you think that Richarlison is going to be just the like-for-like and more expensive and better version of Steven Bergwijn? Or do you think that that Richarlison been brought in for bigger picture stuff, and we're still going to go and get somebody who is going to replace Bergwijn directly? And if so, is Depay, however you say his name, is that the man? Coover, I'll come to you first on it. And sorry for the delay, Karian, my friend.
Richarlison, again, I don't see him as a like-for-like replacement for any of the players. He's somebody that can play all of those positions. That's why he's so valuable to us. That's why it's so difficult to get somebody of this mould, because we've got somebody that needs to be able to fill Harry Kane's boots at times. And that is not a common thing at the moment. So signing a Premiership-proven one that can do it for 60 million makes sense to me. Now, as for Depay, 20 million, for me, that's a gamble you've got to take. It's a quality player. He creates loads and scores loads. He can play with his back to goal a bit. He can dribble at players, cause havoc. He does create lots for other players, whether it's directly assists or he's involved in the build-up to a goal or attacking or shots anyway. He's got an awful lot of great attributes, but we do hear about this potential problem with his attitude. And maybe that's why he's going so cheap. Perhaps I can't imagine they're so desperate for money there that's why the price is that low. So if there's an attitude problem and he's going to rock the boat, then no, I wouldn't want him. But this is why scouts are supposed to be doing their job thoroughly. You're supposed to know all this sort of information. You're supposed to pry a little bit deeper than just the surface stats. Mm-hmm. So if it looks like we could get him in and he's going to toe the line and add to the team, I think that'd be a great signing, especially at that price. But there's reservations, isn't there? So I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Spursy Steve just saying Sean and Davies like Richarlison and Romero is all forgiven. Yeah. Did you see that? Did you see that little kind of handshake at the start of the training today? Did you see it when he came out? It was.
No, I've been busy today.
It was good to see. There's a little video of Richarlison walking, or Romero walking into the lunchroom or whatever, and then Lucas Moura going, "Look who's coming! Look who's coming!" And then they have a little cuddle and a little bit of a handshake and this. But for what it's worth, Richarlison barely looks him in the eye. He kind of goes like this and then looks away again. But then Lucas Moura gives like the kind of round of applause and gets everybody in for it. Before I ask you about Richarlison and Romero, go on. Sorry, go on, Dave. Go on.
If someone's out there, they need to get the Step Brothers cover of the movie and put Richarlison and Romero in it instead of Will Ferrell and whoever that other idiot is. I'd love to see them lodging together at Hotspur Way. That'd be comical. They'd probably just be like pumping out press-ups to see who could do more, wrestling each other and everything. I can't wait to see this in action. And they know they're doing the handshake because they know that they're like, hey, we're going to try and out-aggressive each other now. It's brilliant. Can't wait.
Do you think they'll get on though?
Oh, like a house on fire, lad.
Really?
Yeah. It's a match made in heaven. It's perfect. The two boys will get on like a house on fire.
Until the World Cup.
Yeah, until the World Cup. I think they respect each other. I think they respect each other, how each other is a shithouse, the aggressiveness. They're both strong, you know what I mean? They both do anything to win. They'll do anything to win. I think they respect that about each other.
Well, we'll find out. I personally think you got two alpha males, and there's only room for one alpha male in any kind of community. This is my worry about Richarlison. This is my worry. I don't know how he's gonna he's the new gorilla coming in like. Woo, woo. I just don't know.
It's the chicken, mate. It'll be fine.
But we do have Højbjerg as well. He's an alpha male. He's aggressive. They get on.
Yeah, well, true. It's interesting actually. It'd be really interesting to find out, like, if you had someone who was like some sort of scientist who understood the roles of alpha males and betas within the animal kingdom, how they would look at that in like a sports team, because I'm sure that there's in a lot of sports teams there's going to be multiple alpha males and how they find a way to coexist. Fascinating stuff. I'm still concerned about it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I am wrong, and I'm not going to celebrate being right. If I'm wrong about it, I'm delighted that I'm wrong. If I'm right about it,
let me ask you a question on that.
Yeah.
How long will it take you if he does come in, he does score, and things are all good and rosy? How long will it take you to maybe change your opinion into the season?
If by, I don't know, what's it, August the 5th or whatever is the first game, if we are 7 games in and he has had, I don't know, 40% of the minutes inside of 7 games and has scored a couple of goals, and everybody else is happy. Harry Kane is happy getting, or not necessarily happy. I know no one's ever going to be happy, but if they're not visibly unhappy and there's no tantrums, there's no like fuck yous as they walk off, there's no dismissing Conte's handshake, any of that stuff. If all of that stuff doesn't happen after 6, 7, 8 games, and Richarlison has had enough minutes and has scored a couple of goals, then I will say I'm delighted to say I was wrong. Okay. And that'll be good enough for me. But I just got a sneaky feeling that it's not going to work out that way. But I hope it doesn't matter. We'll find out. Dave, back to the initial super chat.
Yeah.
Memphis Depay, are you on board with it? He's another one that could be trouble, right? He's another one that's got a bit of an attitude. If Bergwijn, isn't Depay just like Bergwijn's bigger clone, like a bigger brother clone?
Yeah, look, I don't think there's too much difference, to be honest with you. Look, I think Depay, 20 million, I think he's going to look for his last big payday as well. He's coming towards the end of his career. Attitude problems. Look, I really liked this guy way before he went to Man United. Didn't work out for him at United. Went to France. He done well there. Done okay at Barcelona. But look, for me, I agree with Kuva. I would look, if he's going to come in and upset the apple cart, but then for me, stay well away from him. And the thing is, even if there's a 50-50, even if it's 50-50, I would hope, like Kuva was saying, that the scouting has gone beyond stats and gone into how he lives his life, personal stuff like that, and making sure we're getting in the right person, because we've took too many 50-50 risks. Lo Celso, Ndombele, prime examples. And for me, we can't keep taking them risks. There's no point in clearing them out and then bringing in potential more that can be like that will upset the apple cart. We've seen the consequences of it over the last 2-3 seasons. So for me, look, I'll be honest, my instinct is stay away. I'll be honest. I think he's a good player. I know he'll get you goals, he'll add competition, but you may as well have just kept Bergwijn if that was the case for me. So for me, I would potentially stay away. Unless Conte maybe knows something, Conte thinks that he can work with him. Because look, there has been clubs that have took that risk on players down the years. United, Cantona, that's a famous one. On players like that. So look, we'll wait and see. But for me, my instinct is to stay away, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah, well, listen, I mean, I did a show. What's amazing about being a content creator? Like, you, as a Tottenham guy, as a Tottenham fan, so you guys will know this, like, basically, the vast majority of the content that we do has a time frame of relevance of about 24, 48 hours, right? Because it's all based on what's happening. There's very little content that you can create that's evergreen. I created a video when I was walking with Bugsy Malone about 2.5, 3 months ago about Memphis Depay. And it had its spike, it had its views, and it just died off and had nothing at all. And then in the last few days, it's jumped back up again because people are suddenly looking for Memphis Depay. And what I watched it back, and what I now remember saying on it, having done the research, is that his stats are phenomenal, right? Over his time at Lyon, his time at Barcelona, his entire career, and we're talking 7 years or 6 years and 200 games, 250, 300 games. He scored a goal every other game across 3-4 different leagues. He's also got an assist every other third game, like one assist every 3 games and 1 goal every 2 games. That sort of ratio is Sonny-esque. So if you're just to look at him based on what he can deliver on the pitch, then I don't mind him at 20 million quid. Whoever does take him in, whoever does get him, if it's not Tottenham, maybe he needs to be the center of attention. Maybe he needs to be, King Depay. I don't know. But for me, his stats are phenomenal. But I agree with both of you that I worry about what sort of caliber of person you're bringing into the team spirit mode. You know,
and that has to be looked at for every single transfer, because we've seen over the last couple of years the implications of not doing your homework properly on a lot of these players and splashing out big money. And look where it's brought us. You know, fans arguing, teams, the squad arguing. You know what I mean? Disconnect from the board to the team to the fan base all the way through. And we can't allow that to happen again by bringing in these sort of personalities. We've got to do more due diligence on our signing, and that's why I back what Conte and Paratici is doing, because for me, I think Paratici is completely undoing a lot of what Steve Hitchen has done. He sold a lot of the players that Steve Hitchen brought in here, and he's bringing in his own. And so far, he's got more right than wrong. So 100%. I trust the kind of caliber of the players we're bringing in here, and I trust that they've done their homework on the actual player. Because look, people say Richarlison has attitude problems, but Everton fans will tell you differently. Everton fans will tell you that, you know, behind this, on the pitch, yes, he's an angry fucker, but behind the scenes, he's an absolute gentleman. So I think, again, that's one we probably done our homework on, just like we done with Basuma. We probably knew he was going to be, cleared innocent, and that's why we swooped in and got him. So I do think that maybe we are doing a bit more due diligence. Learned that one again today, Shawnee, from the dictionary. And so I do think we're doing a lot more background into our signings now. I think we're being a lot more shrewder. You have people that know the game.
Yeah, I hope so. Someone's calling me out for saying I'm off my rocker on the goal every other game. I don't believe I am at all. I've just got his Dutch stats up for a second. He scored 80 goals. He scored 42 goals for Holland in 80 appearances. That is a goal every other game. And the same stats rock up for his time in the French league and for Barcelona over a long period. So whoever's saying I'm drunk or whoever's saying I'm off my head, I forget what the thing is, but do your own due diligence, mate, because you're wrong and I'm right. It's okay.
One in two is a good strike rate as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's perfect strike rate. Let's move on. Dave, I want to get your opinion on this. And I want to call this out now using my my little flimsy sheet. Okay. So in terms of foreign contingent, we have 17 spaces that can be in the Champions League rotation. And I know we spoke about this before. And I know that, hang on, let me get rid of this comment for a second. I know that people, the argument is we can just fill the homegrown with young players, and that's fine. But there are names in this list on the foreign contingent that aren't going to make it. I'm going to call them out quickly. Doherty. As I read them out, tell me which ones you think, or hold your hand up to names that you think won't be in the 17. Doherty, Emerson, Romero, Davies, Dyer, Sanchez, Reguilon, Bentancur, Bissouma, Højbjerg. That's 10. Sonny, Decky, Mora, Richarlison, Lloris, Rodon. What did I get to? Højbjerg, Sonny, Decky, Mora, Richarlison, Rodon, Lloris, Sarr, Brian Hill, Perisic is another 10. Longley, Ndombele, and Lo Celso. So there's 6 players in that list that won't make the 17. Which are the 6?
Ndombele, Lo Celso, Joe Rodon. Who else was there? Let me think.
Brian Hill?
Yeah, Brian Hill. Reguilon, because he's been left out. And then you're looking for one more.
Two more.
So we've got Lo Celso, Ndombele, Brian Hill.
I think Sarr gets into it?
Reguilon. Papa Sarr could be one that might not make it.
Reguilon, sorry. Reguilon's the other one.
Yeah.
And Sarr, yeah? That's the 6, is it?
Yeah. Potentially Sanchez could be left out, maybe. Maybe not, but actually, no. I watched 202 days last night content. Sanchez scored a few headers, so maybe he might actually.
Do you remember that game? Watford won when we got the game done in an 89th minute with
Just goal. Quickly, I don't want to take Kuva's airtime, but I was watching it last night. And amount of late goals we got, the late winners, we were kind of like, we had such a lucky season in that regard. Like there was Watford, there was the Leicester game, and there was the Man City game, late winners. Like there was late winners right throughout that season. Unbelievable. Kuva, who do you think is going to be left out?
It's similar list, isn't it? It's always going to be a similar list with these ones. Rodon, Ndombele, Reguilon, Lo Celso. Who else we got? Mate Sarr. He's not ready yet. Clearly, we haven't really had a look at him at all. After that, I mean, for me, it'll be Emerson Royale, but that involves getting somebody in as well.
Yeah.
Hill, I think he'll go out on loan again. That's probably about 6 by now, isn't it?
Sorry, Kuva, my mum was just coming. What was the 6 you said? Sorry. Ndombele, Lo Celso, Roden, Brian Hill, Reguilon, and Sarr. Are they the 6?
That'll do.
So what happens to them then? Okay, so I agree with those. Those are probably the 6, although Brian Hill's travelled to Korea. Reguilon hasn't. Sarr has. Rodon hasn't. Lo Celso hasn't. Ndombele hasn't. There's a lot of wages there and a lot of value there. Where do you see us? Where do you see that? Where do you see those numbers? Like, who's going to buy Ndombele? Who's going to buy Joe Rodon or Lo Celso? Like, where do you see that shit happening?
Not for me to worry about, to be fair. That's what the director of football's for. He's the one that's being paid a big wage to go and find homes for him. So I just think that the likes of Brian Hill, there's enough talent there for him to have value. If we're not selling him for reasonable value, loan him out again. Mate Sarr, unknown quantity, hasn't really done anything to catch the eye so far. Struggled in a struggling team. Have a look at him pre-season, then we'll go from there. Probably going to be a loan deal. I can't imagine him breaking into the first team under any circumstances this season, unless he does a blinder in pre-season. But there's nothing to suggest he will do. The obvious ones then: Ndombele, Lo Celso. You've got to hope there's enough interest for him. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we've done this one before with Ndombele. I'd happily rip his contract up in front of his face.
It's a lot of money. So that every penny, if you wanted to rip his contract up, every penny and more of what we've just received from Bergwijn is going to be just given to the man.
Yeah. Well, we're wasting it anyway, aren't we? Never going to get anything out of him.
Is there absolutely no hope? Are you even in is there nothing that you can see? There's no chance that either of you can see him ever doing anything that could give him a second chance?
I think there's a big difference between a player underperforming, the likes of Soldado, had a terrible run for us, couldn't hit form whatsoever. Good bloke, good professional. Went back and carried on his career okay. There's a big difference between the likes of that sort of failure and the likes of Ndombele, who just clearly doesn't give a shit and just only plays when he feels like it. So, no, if the attitude's wrong, you're never going to get anything. I mean, you're hoping for somebody to, just feel like turning up one day. I just don't see the point. Absolute waste of time for me.
Sorry, Dave?
Ndombele, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any chance at all that you see him? Is that I know it's unlikely, but do you have any desire ever to see him ever don a Tottenham shirt ever again?
Never, ever, 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 Sean. Look, for me, there's a reason why we call him Ronald McDombele, Endom Lardas, all these other names. Look, like Kuva said, you can take someone, well, I can't really, but you can accept some. No, I can't again. But look, you can. What Kuva said basically about underperforming. Okay, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't. Let me rephrase that. It doesn't hurt you as much as someone that's just not arsed to be here. And at the end of the day, we're losing to Morecambe, and the guy is trudging off the pitch. There's boos all around the stadium, and he's giving the attitude back to the fans. He starts going even slower. Get the fuck off the pitch. Sitting there in an interview there last week. A reporter asked him, do you think you could ever be happy at Tottenham? Oh, well, yeah, maybe potential. What, 3 years later? Thank you very much. We outlaid a massive fee, outlaid massive wages. And yeah, don't get me wrong, he's had some good moments, but the bad moments far outweigh the good moments. And he's got an attitude problem. He's too lazy. We had to, not only did we spend big, massive money on him, but then we had to go and buy Højbjerg to do all of his defensive work. We've then since gone and reinvested in that position again in Basuma and Bentancur. There's no way back for this guy whatsoever. The fans hate him. He doesn't. His attitude is absolutely appalling. And for me, the sooner this hitching circus is over and these guys are off the books, him, Lo Celso, the better it is for everybody. And if they weren't instructing their agents to find a move out now because they're happy on their big wages, well, with a World Cup coming up and no first team football potentially on the horizon, I bet you to be on their phone onto their agents. Look, offers we may not have looked at before, get them into me and I'll analyze them. They'll find a way out of here. They don't want to face the prospect of no football whatsoever. And look, Conte kept him away from the team last year. What did he do? Sent him on to military boot camp, specialist conditioning training. Basically, you're going to run laps all day. That's exactly what you're going to do. You do not stop. I want to see you piss and sweat, and I might potentially think about giving you a bottle of water at the end. And that's the way you treat these guys. If they want to come in here and they want to trudge about and be lazy and accept the wages and do absolutely nothing, then if they're going to treat your club like shit, you treat them like shit. And then both parties are happy, and then we can just get rid of them. I get the club are going to lose money, but at the end of the day, we didn't do our homework in the first place. So that's the hit we have to take.
Yeah. Almost like cryptocurrencies. You know, I lost a significant part of my wealth, of my personal wealth, by not doing my due diligence on a couple of investments that ended up going to zero. So maybe that's just the way you got to look at it, a sunk cost. Ben Kaufman, mate, sorry, I skipped this part when I skipped your super chat when I didn't mean to, but just go through it when we were talking about R9, Richarlison, and Romero. Listen, I'll thank you so much for it, first of all, but also it would be amazing. And I will, to David and Cooper's point, have asked me what it's going to take for me to change my opinion. I hope I'm wrong, really do. And if those two get on, if they've started getting on together very well, it's a little like an axe has been taken to the tree of Sean's opinion, and someone's trying to chop it down. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do. Thank you so much.
On the other hand, with Ben's comment, better love story than Twilight. So's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I do want to bring up somebody's point here a minute ago. But actually, before I do, I'm just going to call this one out. Ben from We Are Tottenham TV. He knows that, we smashed him, me and Jack from Spurs Related smashed him in a hit. Well, it's smashed him. We snuck past the post, just dipped our head in the last minute to win the quiz. And the rematch is happening on Tuesday night on Spurs Related. Nice. So tune in for that.
You know what's so good about dipping your head? Richarlison does it. Get used to it. There'll be lots of that next season.
There'll be lots of that. Yeah, listen, I've got I really hope that I'm wrong, and that I'm going to be Richarlison's biggest supporter.
If you win that quiz, Sean, you can become champ, and then we can have a champ off.
That's right, because I'm currently champ one time. You're champ, but did you beat these guys? You beat these guys as well, did you?
Oh lad, I bet Benji and Ashley, and then I bet the two Bryans, B1 and B2. Bet them both.
So you're champ, and I'm currently champ with Jack. Listen, Jack, not Jack. He's Jack. Jack is a very knowledgeable young fella. Very, very knowledgeable. Like I say, at the time, he carried me, so I'm going to take it. But yes. He's come back again. Dave, we're coming for you too. Listen, you're like the West Ham of the quizzing circuit, Ben. You guys you start well, but you end up not quite getting over the line by the end of the story.
When we see Champ beside We Are Tottenham TV, then we'll entertain the quiz.
I don't know. Calling them West Ham though.
Yeah, well,
At least tame it down to Leicester or something.
No, because West Ham always start well, but then they end up not doing anything by the end of the season, and that's kind of
fighting talk, mate. Fighting.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see. I know on Tuesday we're going to get absolutely annihilated. I know that, but that's okay. Somebody was saying, I forget who it was. I'm trying to find the comment. Was saying that Pape Sarr and Brian Hill could equally make the European squad by being put into the under-21s. It's a good point, right? So. Maybe we don't need to worry about those two so much. Maybe it's about it's just about getting rid of the people that won't make it, which would be Rodon, Lo Celso, Ndombele, and Reguilon. Do you think we can get rid of those guys? Let me ask you this. Like, not to get into the thus far, but I'm going to say it anyway, Dave. Like, to you and to Kuva, does the transfer window out of 10 matter to you thus far because we haven't got rid of any of our problem players? I'll come to you first, Dave.
I'm not sure what you mean by the question, lad.
Oh, so we've been on this channel. We've been having a lot of thus far, but we've only been talking about the players we've signed. We haven't really talked about the players we've sold. Bergwijn is obviously someone that's gone out the door. Harry Winks hasn't gone yet. Lo Celso hasn't gone yet. Ndombele hasn't gone yet. Winks hasn't gone yet. Do we need to worry, or should we be worrying a little bit that there's not a lot of action on that front, on that kind of side of things? And if we don't get rid of those players, does that bring down your window out of 10 score?
If I was an accountant, I'd certainly be rating that at a 0 because it'd be giving me headaches every month doing the accounts, knowing that you have far more wages on the books than what you should have. But at the end of the day, it kind of makes the window a lot better for me, actually, Shawnee, because the fact that we're acting before we are even selling is a massive plus for me because we've never done that before. I mean, look, I was coming into this window, I was suspect that there'd be interest in Ndombele, Lo Celso, Winks and stuff like that. I'm just not sure what manager looks at them, especially nowadays with coming out of COVID. People are going to be a lot more frugal with their money. They're not going to take as many gambles with the money as they did before. And signing any one of them three is a gamble. What manager looks at them and says, ooh, game changer. He is going to absolutely rip up my midfield. Nobody. Ndombele, you have to massage his feet and beg him to play. Lo Celso, I don't know what you have to do with that guy. He just does what he wants. And then Harry Winks, you can rev him up, but he just doesn't deliver. Ultimate disappointment. So for me, it actually makes it a better window. I'm happy that we're acting like that, to be honest with you, Sean. At the end of the day, I couldn't give a fuck about these players that are hanging around here on big wages. Fine, hang around. Sit here and play no football for the year. That's fine by me because players have done that before. And guess what? They've been forgotten the next window. No problem.
Yeah. Okay. Kuv, I'm going to let you go. I'm just busting for a wee, so let me go and get a wee. But I'm going to let you take over the stream and answer the question if that's okay. And I'll come back.
Yeah, no problem. Let's just sit in silence and wait.
Let's have a minute silence.
So, what would you like to talk about, Dave?
Yeah, we'll just have the minute silence.
I've lost track of thought already. No, it's about the players going out, isn't it? Yeah, it's a major part of it. I'm with you, David. It's what's so refreshing is us actually seeing the change in attitude. Get the players in first, then worry about shipping them out. We've held ourselves back for so long doing it the opposite way round. So late in the transfer window, we're still hoping to shift somebody out before we bring the new player in. It's all well and good if you're an accountant, like you said, it's a good reference. You've got to balance the books at some point, of course you do. But if you're a really big club, you worry about that after getting what you need. It's a case of fixing the roof before you mop up the water, isn't it? It's you've got to get those players in first, otherwise you failed no matter what. If you have to pay over the odds for players that are sat in the background because you couldn't get rid of them, so be it. Why keep them if you're not going to play them anyway? What does it matter? You just get the new players in. You've messed up, learn from it. Do your scouting a bit better.
Exactly, and Kuva, by waiting to sell your players first, you're not exactly forcing them to find a club, so they could take their time for the right option to come along. And if that comes along late in the window, you're only hurting yourself if you're waiting to sell before you buy. You're not like some of your targets that you wanted are already gone. And then the rest, you're left trying to get the business done quick, but while the season's going on and integrate everybody. But by doing the way we're doing it, in retrospect, you've probably more chance of getting them out because you're forcing their hand by bringing in the players to fill their position and putting them further down the pecking order. And then by leaving them out of pre-season, which then leads them to maybe missing out on the Premier League squad or, the European squad. They're sitting there and all of a sudden they're like, I don't fancy my odds here. And that comes down to having people like Conte in charge, Paratici in charge, who get football, who get the way the business side is gone. And it's absolutely ruthless. They play 5D chess better than most people. And I love the way they're acting this time round because we've protected ourselves this time round and kind of put yourself first this time round, I reckon.
Yeah, and the other point to it. I was bossing it there.
OCD.
I think we've got a guest in a second as well, Sean.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Just to finish off David's point quickly, though. Yeah. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say now, and it was all right as well. Damn it, it'll come back to me. Get the guest on then, Sean.
Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, she's changed her. I'm not sure what she's doing. Let's bring her on. It's the Queen Ellie. How you doing, Queen? Ellie. Oh, same old problems. How you doing, Ellie?
There we go.
How you doing,
Not
Ellie?
bad about.
How are you, Ellie?
No.
Professionalism as always.
Classic Ellie.
Ellie, come and get some. Come back, Ellie. Come back when you're. Ellie, come back when you got yourself settled in somewhere. There she is. She's back. Are you back, Ellie? Ellie, there? No.
Well, sure, she's sorting that out. I remember what I was going to say now to finish off the transfer going out segment. Is if by proactively bringing the players in first, you're also setting into motion another chain of events where players from other clubs need the player to fill the hole that's just missing. So you're actually creating activity within the transfer market that in turn may help you get rid of your own players.
Yeah.
So, be the first to do it like we have been doing. This is what we've been calling out for years. This is part of what Levy had been doing wrong, and now we're now doing it right. I'm actually excited about this season. It's we're a little bit late getting some of the players in we need perhaps, but not by a long way. We've got a big bulk of it done already, and that is superb to see. Really happy about that. So thus far, I'm still not rating the transfer window because it's not finished.
Let me ask this. Oh, let me get a quick super chat whilst we've got the break here. Sebastian, what's happening, man? I'm going to get to this real quick rather than letting it hang around the background. Why is my screen going all jumpy? He's saying, Sean, if Richarlison scores 15 goals next season, you have to do the R9 haircut.
Yeah.
What is the R9 haircut? What is that?
The old just the fringe and the rest is shaven.
Oh yeah. Do it.
The iconic R9. Go type it in on Google and have a look there just before you agree to it.
No, I'll do it anyway. If he scores 15 goals, I'll do it, but I won't. I'll do it for a stream, but then I'll shave it the next day. Is that fair?
I would have a look at the haircut before you agree to anything.
It's called the R9 haircut, yeah?
Yeah. It's tasty. It's good.
Oh, it's like the Ronaldo style thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, listen, by this time next season, I think that my hair will be largely gone anyway because it's falling out by the day. So, but I'll do it. I'll do it for 15 goals in the Premier League, not 15 goals overall, 15 Premier League goals. And I'll do the shave and then I'll keep it for one session and I'll shave the rest off. Is that fair? Is that fair?
Stuart727 says dyed blonde as well, just so it stands out.
Listen,
if anyone else has any suggestions, put them in now while we're on the topic.
And you got to do the chicken dance around the ring.
I will do that. But if Richarlison scores less than 10 goals for Tottenham in the Premier League, then Dave, you have to do it. And Cooper, you've got to shave your beard off if he scores less than 7.
That ain't happening. It's less than what?
Less than what? Less than 7 goals.
Too much of a risk. I don't do stupid.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Listen, it's unbelievable.
He could break a leg or something in the first game. I mean, that's
yeah. He's got 2 games to get 15 goals. I'm not betting that. No way.
I'll think about it. Still on. I'll think about it, Sebastian. Thank you for the super chat, though, my man. I want to ask you guys this. So there's a couple. We haven't got through any of the news yet. Everton want Tottenham defender Japhet Tanganga on loan amid heavy competition. That's according to Gianluigi Longari, who's I think he's an Italian sports writer who also dropped the news that Tottenham were interested in, that AC Milan were interested in Japhet Tanganga. Quick one: are you guys up for Japhet Tanganga to leave the club, or do you worry about the ability to put certain players in the European squad? And what are your thoughts on that one?
Kuva?
Yeah, I've said this on several streams. I actually like Tanganga. I love his attitude. I love his strength, his aggression, his athleticism. He can jump like the salmon going back up for mating season. But I do worry about his ability on the ball. I think his positioning leaves a lot to be desired. Very erratic. He's had some blinding games, but he's also had some absolutely atrocious games too. So if somebody's coming in to get him on loan, the likes of Everton, I'd be all for it. If he can get a season of games under his belt, perhaps he'll find some form and we get a better player back. But for me, if somebody came in with just an offer to just sell, I'd probably take it. I just don't see him really making the grade. I really don't, which is a pity because when you love a player's attitude, you really want them to succeed. I just don't see it with him.
Interesting. Okay, Dave, hi Ellie, how you doing? Good to see you. Dave, before we come to Ellie, Japhet Tanganga, what do you want to see happen to Japhet's Tottenham future this season?
Yeah, look, I like Tanganga. I call him the manhandler. Just the sheer aggression that the guy has. Look, for me, Sean, I think he's been hampered by injuries the last 2 seasons. He hasn't been able to progress, I'm sure, the way he would like. And he hasn't progressed, I'm sure, the way we would like. But, look, he's off the back of 2 injury hit campaigns. And for me, he's one that he's 23. He's coming out of that development period. Is he really going to get much better? And, look, for me, because of the 2 injuries, it's hard to tell. So what I would do is Bournemouth want him. Send him down to Bournemouth. He's worked with Scotty Parker at youth level in the Tottenham Academy. Send him down there. Bournemouth need defenders. Let him get a season under his belt there and see if he can stay injury prone. But by going to a team in the Premier League, he keeps his himself in front of the eye of Conte and in front of the eye of Tottenham. So it'll be beneficial for him. And me, because the last 2 years from 21 to 23 I've been injury prone, I would send him out on loan and let's just see what he could do with a season behind his belt. But then you're taking the risk as well. He goes there, he could get injured, he's out for another large part of the season. The last 2 years, he's missed the first part of the season and the back part of the season, and it's just not good for the guy. But saying that, this is just my opinion. I don't think there's too much difference between him and Sanchez. Sanchez is also god-awful on the ball, in my opinion. Yeah, he could be a threat from set pieces, but you look at the 2 of them, I think Tanganga's younger. I don't see much difference. I would much rather keep Tanganga given the games that Sanchez is going to play. But again, Tanganga is probably about number 6 or 7 on the list now in the pecking order. So, but me, I would rather keep him around than Sanchez. At least he's a Tottenham boy. And he makes the homegrown list.
Yeah. Oh, so you'd rather see Sanchez be sold, would you?
Look, I've made no bones about that. I don't like Sanchez whatsoever. I think, yeah, look, great. We'll all celebrate, hug each other. He scored a few headers, but apart from that, he doesn't really excite me. For me, he doesn't really do too much. I've seen the guy make way too many blunders. I've seen him be so erratic and just god awful actually in terms of on the football. And you can't play out from the back with him. You just can't. You just can't. There's a reason why we went and bought Romero. There's a reason why we went and loaned in Langley. There's a reason why we have other targets, because the guy is just not good enough. Conte knows that. Look, yeah, his passing stats look decent this season, but that's because they're inflated against a 10-man Arsenal team where there's no pressure on the guy. I mean, yeah. You know what I mean? I could have stat padded in that sort of game. Look, for me, people like Sanchez. He kept 3 clean sheets at the start of the season and 3 clean sheets at the end of the season. But no one wants to talk about the 9-10 game period he had in the middle of the season where he was just absolutely clumsy.
Yeah. But do you think, though, that people make the same, how do I say this? Have the same, zoned in, pigeonholed view on Tanganga, on Emerson, on Doherty, on a few players, right? There's a few players that where people we love Matt Doherty right now, But he only got 7 or 8 great games in, and they were
6.
phenomenal games. 6, right? He got 6. Emerson got 5 games in at the end of the season that were also very, very important, super important for different reasons, right? Like we created the top 4 opportunity with Matt Doherty. We saved the top 4 opportunity with Matt Doherty, with Emerson. But I don't think people give the same credit or the same respect to Emerson as they do to Doherty. And I'm not saying either way.
I
what
don't like
are your thoughts?
Doherty. I've made that clear for a long time now. Look, with Doherty, for me, 6 good games. I've seen him have 6 good games in the Tottenham jersey.
2 years.
Yeah, I don't forget about the season before where he got absolutely roasted by Arsenal by the same move every single time. Okay,
Yeah.
Gareth Bale didn't come back and help him. But then why does he keep lunging out for them to pass it inside and back in behind him every single time? It's brain dead defending. And look, for me, I get right back is a different position to right wing back. But in retrospect, the only difference you have is a bit more responsibility defensively. They're more or less the same position. If you're playing right back, you're still asked to push on. You should be able to play the two if you're at the required level to be at a big club. You should be able to switch between the two, and it shouldn't be a problem. Look, a lot of Steve Hitchens' recruitment was poor. Emerson, not the greatest, but with Emerson, he gives you good character in the dressing room. I mean, he gives you iconic images, but look, I get he's not the greatest. I think we do need to improve over that position. But like I said, I think there's going to be one position where we're not going to be happy with going into this window because we had so much to fill. But at the end of the day, I agree with you on the likes of Doherty. You know, for me, I just want to put an end to all this average standard players at Tottenham where you don't really know from game to game what you're going to get from them. You're hyping them up because they've had 2 good games on the bounce. You had quality players here. You'd be getting that 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 games on the bounce, 38 games over the course of a season. Yeah. And for me, I just want to put an end to all this average players, average on the ball, average mentality, average defensively. Ship them out and let's get in quality and push on. Because if we don't do that, we're only falling behind. And Steve Hitchen had a massive problem. His recruitment has been highlighted. It's been absolutely woeful. Bang average. Good players. Good players will not have the fan base talking about switching between systems, can they cope, etc., etc., etc. They just get on with it and do it. That's why no one uses managers as an excuse for Harry Kane or Son, but they will use them for an excuse for the likes of Bergwijn, Lucas Moura, etc., etc. But average players, quality players, you don't talk about management, the system. They get on with it and they play, and that's what we need to get to at this club.
Yeah, I love it, mate. I love it. I absolutely adore that because I feel exactly the same. For me, I am terrified of starting the season. I gave the season thus far a 7 out of 10. A couple of weeks back, 2 or 3 days before we signed Richarlison. As I said 1,000 times since then, I've dropped it down a little bit because I'm just not. I wasn't that excited about Richarlison. Forget him. I'm still terrified about the right wing back spot. It's such a crucial spot. And I'm about to bring in Queen Ellie, and we're going to hope that Queen is going to work this time. I'm going to come to you first. Oh, go on, David.
I just want to say something to you quickly on Richarlison. And look, I'm not even going to debate your point. You're right to have your reservations. Everyone can have reservations on players coming here. You know, not everyone's going to think he's an amazing signing. But what I will say to you, Sean, is I get the money, but take the money out of it. Bringing him in rather than relying on a Vinicius or a Janssen, you know, coming in when you don't really know what they're going to give you. Whereas Richarlison, you know, he's going to give you a lot more. So even if you're just looking at it in terms of football quality, overall quality of the player compared to players we've had previously, it is upgrading. Whether you think the money or what, take that out.
I agree with that.
Is upgrading. Yeah.
And I've never suggested that we're downgrading by having him.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a case of, to your point.
Tag.
I agree with you that Emerson Royale is not the guy. I like him more than most, but I still don't think he's the guy. And I agree with you that I think that Doherty only had 6 good games in 2 seasons, so he's not the guy. And Jed Spence is a lottery ticket. You know, we don't know. He might be the next whatever, but he also could be the next like Jack Clark. So we just don't know. And for me, Ellie, don't go because I'm about to come to you in 2 seconds for your opinion. If you've gone, I'm going to come to Coover on it. Before we do, guys, we're bouncing around the 300 mark on views. I haven't asked this for a while. There's only about 170 likes. If you wouldn't mind, anyone that hasn't already, just take 2 seconds out of your life and hit that like button for me, because it massively helps the algorithm, which helps my channel get a bit more exposure. It costs you nothing. Just hit the like button would mean the absolute world. We're on. There's twice as many people that are watching that have hit the like button. So if you wouldn't mind, just do that favor for us. Considering that Ellie's not there, Kuv, I'm going to come to you, obviously, mate. Do you understand where my Richarlison point is literally based in relevance, right? It's not relevance, relativity. I'm happy with the guy. It's fine. Like, I know he's an upgrade, but I just want to see us go fix that fucking right wing back spot. And whether it's one big sign like Hakimi, as much as that's unrealistic, it could be 2 players that are of the Dodo or the or any of those levels, right? Like, it could be anyone between. It could be the Leicester guy. You made some really good points earlier on, and I've always referenced it. I like the idea of going and get Pereira or James Justin. There's loads of players between Hakimi and Jed Spence. And for me, starting the season with Doherty and Spence and Emerson means we are woefully unprepared in the right wing back spot, considering how important it is. And if the reason why we're getting Jed Spence is because there's not that much money left, then it's in no small part because we spent a lot of money on Richarlison. So the reason why I don't like Richarlison's signing that much is because of what we're not doing elsewhere. That's it. If money was no object, I'm happy with Richarlison. But the fact that it is an object, it's a problem. That's my point, Kuv. And I'd like to ask you whether you agree, disagree, or somewhere in between.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I do understand what you're saying about Richarlison. I don't agree with your point, but I do take it on board. It's a valid point of view to take. I'm of the opinion that we're always in this situation as fans where somebody will say, "Oh, I don't like Emerson." What does that mean? You want Doherty all season?
Yeah.
No, there's the third option where you don't want any of them.
People think it's a binary choice, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, at a push, we have 10 players that are worthy of keeping for a top, for challenging for the title. And some of those are squad players. Richarlison, possibly one of them. We know the world-class ones, Sonny, Kane, Romero, Hugo, even still the Hugo is. But you've got these other ones that are just almost there, but good enough. The Kulusevskis, the Bentancurs, they look great players. I think they're going to get better as they go on under Conte. But they're not world-class yet, in my opinion. But they're close. But we've got so many. And right wing back, thus far.
Just on Kulusevski and Bentancur, it's interesting to hear Paratici and Conte say in the 202-day documentary about the mentality of the guys when they sign them. They knew the mentality of the players.
Yeah, there's a big reason to invest in some over others, which is why the Depay one's a dodgy one, because I don't know what his mentality's like, but there are rumours. Is there smoke without fire? It could be a bit of a dodgy one. It would explain the low price as well. So anyway, getting back to the squad as it is, I agree. If we don't address the right wing back slot, in my opinion, it's a wasted window because we had an opportunity to really push forward and do something here. And if we're let down just by not getting something through there at the last minute, we don't want to be going at the end of the season, missing out by a few points on something and going, if only. I like to go with the old adage of when you're a player, you've got to go out with the attitude of coming back off the pitch. You've left everything out there, everything you possibly had to give left out on that pitch. Then you can hold your head up high. The fans will respect you. Again, the fans do our part. Cheer the team like crazy. Get behind them at all times. Become the 12th man. Leave everything we got in the stands. Just give it everything you got. Then you have to say with the manager. And what's always been lacking is the chairman not doing it. So now he appears to be doing that. I think we could be on the verge of something here. Let's not just throw it away by failing to get the last piece of the jigsaw in place for Conte to work with something. Because I do believe he is capable of overtaking the likes of Liverpool or Man City if a certain amount of variables go in our favour, because I think he's the kind of manager that can get success out of a team that's on paper worse than their rivals. And that's what we'd effectively be doing. We'd have to gel as a team to make the sum of our parts exceed the quality of the likes of Liverpool and Man City. That's unlikely to happen, but let's get in the position where we've got a chance of doing it. So get those last transfers in, have a bloody good season. I think it's going to be really exciting. If we see a couple of right wing backs come in the next couple of days, and the likes of Emerson and Doherty both become obsolete, I'm going to start getting really excited.
Do you think that's going to happen, though? Like, are we
Do I
speculating?
think it's going to happen? No. Would I like it to happen? Yes, most certainly.
Can I throw a name out there for right wing back? If in terms of you're looking at a homegrown, he's young, if that's the caliber we want to go after, and he's got a year in the Premier League. Livramento at Southampton had a very good season for them last season. I like what he's about. He's big, strong lad. He can get down the wing. He has a good shot on him. He's physical. I don't understand that if an alternative to Spence, an alternative to Spence might cost a bit more, but at least he can hack it in the Premier League. Yes, there's still going to be a development there, but at the end of the day, it's less of a gamble than what Spence is.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm a big fan of Livramento. I think he's class. I think he could be another one that listen, there's a massive gap, as I've said a minute ago, there's a massive gap between Jed Spence and what he's done thus far and someone like a Hakimi. And I think everyone keeps mentioning it, but let's just call a spade, right? Like, there's no concrete news. The only reason everyone keeps mentioning him is because he's the very best in class in a position where we need someone who's best in class, and that the club who currently has his contract are probably looking in other directions and need to raise money. But apart from that, there is nothing to suggest that there's even the slightest, cat's hell chance that we're going to get him. And so everybody else in between that, and Livramento is one of them, Dave, I completely agree. I just want to quickly speak. Brian Timlin, new member. Mate, I'm sorry you can't come on today, my friend. It's a closed circuit today, but big up for you for showing the support to the channel, my friend. And like I said to you in the WhatsApp group, my friend, you're more than welcome to come on. In future shows, I'll be putting the link out for the community section. If anyone does want to join and come onto the show when we don't put the link out, then it will be in the community section for members only. Today's not one of those days, but it will be for a lot of other times. And so thank you so much, Brian. And you will absolutely get your chance to come on, my friend, and have your say. Just want to take this opportunity as well to also say, and I'm putting the link up here, guys, if you want to join, I listen, you've got a real good chance of smashing me in this one, but I have just set up my fantasy Premier League team on premierleague.com, and I'm going to put in a Spurs Talk Show league, and I'm going to say it right now. If anyone's doing it anyway, there's no cost to be a part of this particular league. You can join the league. It's there. Just have the AF61M7 link. Add yourself to the league. And whoever it is, if you're a subscriber to the show and you happen to win the league, then I will gift purchase that person at the end of the season a brand new Tottenham shirt with whoever you want on the back of it and the number of that player. And speaking of which, so you can join right now, take that note down, go and join premierleague.com. Like I say, you haven't got to pay anything to be a part of this league. It's just a bit of fun. But I will let the person who wins the league, I will buy them a Tottenham shirt of their choice with their name and number on the back. Speaking of which, of names and numbers, there's been a bit of an absolute PR disaster, hasn't there, Coov, in the last 24 hours? A lot of players are fucking furious that Oliver Skip has changed his number and QT Romero has changed his as well to different numbers than what they played under last season. And people have already gone out and bought their Spurs shirt with the new thing and had QT Romero or Oliver Skip with their previous numbers. And now QT Romero is wearing number 17 and Oliver Skip is wearing number 4. And I'm seeing 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds on Twitter demanding their money back because they've been fraudulently ridiculed by buying last season's squad numbers. How do you feel about that? Should Tottenham do are solid and allow them to swap their names and numbers around, or is it just like, you know what? You shouldn't have bought it you shouldn't have bought your shirt and number so quickly. And also, you're like 60 years old, bro. Aren't you a little bit weird for having like 20-year-old numbers and names on your shirts?
You could take the approach of, it's a little bit their own fault for not waiting for the squad numbers to be decided. But, Spurs make enough money off the merchandise anyway. I don't see any harm in just giving people a little token gesture of goodwill and let them change the shirt. Really don't. It's part of being
it cost them nothing, does it? It cost them very little, a couple of quid here or there.
Yeah. It's
100%.
not a big deal for me. It's not like the entire squad have just changed numbers. And as much as Romero and Skip are popular figures, it's not like you're having to do it with Sonny, for example, who's gonna like 3/4 of the stock of shirts. Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Ellie, welcome to the show. Finally, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Oh, very badly.
Hello?
Ellie, I thought you fixed your internet.
I think if we're doing a show from inside a fish tank one day, that'll work well.
Ellie, you listen, I don't know what to say. Ellie, your internet's awful. Your reception's awful. Can you hear us? No, Ellie. I didn't cut her out. That's a dropping down again. It's madness. She's got officially the worst internet in the entire Tottenham community.
That's what the club should be doing. Get Ellie an internet connection.
Absolutely fucking hilarious.
She's an ex-player. She always bigs the team up. Sort it out, Tottenham.
OCD whiskey, sick man.
What's OCD? Is she wearing PVC? Let's have a look. Ellie, she's gone again. I tried to click her in. She's gone again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going to go. Let me ask you, the guys, the last two things. So, Pau Torres, right? So, Football Fancast, Spurs have dropped another update on reported Tottenham transfer Pau Torres. In a recent interview with Give Me Sport, the transfer insider revealed that despite Paratici recently completing the signing of Barcelona's Clement Longley, Spurs could yet pursue a deal for Villarreal defender this summer, for whom the La Liga side reports to be demanding a figure of around 45 million quid, and it will be in line with Lo Celso. So O'Rourke has said, Peter O'Rourke has said, I think it would be fair to say that Spurs will be the front runners if it came down to the two clubs to sign Pau Torres. Champions League football will be a big carrot for the Spain international to bring him to England. Also, if Manchester United were to sign Lisandro Martinez, which, excuse the quote, which is actually looking like it's done today, 40 million or 50 million quid apparently is the done deal. And back into the quote, that means maybe Pau Torres is not at the top of their agenda right now either. If Tottenham were to move for Pau Torres, I think they would be pretty confident that they might be able to get the deal done. Let me ask you this, Dave. Pau Torres has been a name that's long been associated with Tottenham Hotspur since January, really. But he turned us down last year, right? He didn't want to play for us last year because we couldn't offer Champions League football. And as far as I'm aware, he turned us down this summer, because even though we could, he wanted to go to Manchester United.
Yeah, look, Langley also turned us down last season, Shawnee. You know, Langley also didn't want to make the move from Barcelona to Tottenham last season, but he did this season. Look, big up, Ellie.
I'm at my daughter's flat, so I don't know what's going on. It must be my phone.
It's fine, mate.
It must be. It might be an Arsenal fan, you know.
It's the most famous internet connection in all of the Spurs community, without a shadow of a doubt.
I don't know. It must be my phone. It must be, because I'm at my daughter's flat, and she gets perfect internet here.
Have you added her Wi-Fi to your phone?
Well, my daughter just got proposed to by a boyfriend in Barcelona.
Congratulations. That's amazing.
Well
That's
done.
amazing.
Congratulations.
Massive congratulations.
Mrs. Davidson.
Ellie, I can't hear you. Ellie, no, not really.
Hold on. Let me turn my camera.
Oh dear, Ellie, can you hear
Does
us?
that improve it?
Not really. It's the microphone as well. It's all absolutely
Hello?
awful, Ellie. Nah, Ellie, it's not working. It's not working. And she's gone again.
I'll take a minute. I'll ring her to tell her to connect it to the internet box.
All right, Kuva, let me come to you whilst David's doing that, mate. Pau Torres, what are your thoughts, mate? Listen, would you be happy if that's the left-sided centre-back? That might give us the option to put Longley into the central side. Like, how do you see that? Or do you think that now we've got Longley, that Ben Davies and Longley can kind of figure it out amongst themselves, and maybe we don't want Pau Torres, and we want a Dave's gone as well now, and we want a more of a central sided centre back.
Well, we've done this one on previous streams, haven't we, mate? When we're looking at comparisons, and my feeling with Pau Torres is he would be a replacement for Davis. Believe it, not Davis for Dyer, because it would be that last man back there. His job won't be for tackling and heading. It's literally to pick the ball up, the loose ball up, and distribute it well. Sometimes ghost forward with it. Just basically be that quality passing player at the back of the team. Glenn Hoddle did this really well at the end of his career when he came back to England and played for Chelsea in a sweeper role. I liken it to that more than comparing him to a central defender as such. There's a bit more to his game in terms of skills, but he's not a stopper. He's not great in the air. He is not a sort of rugged, do or die, throw your body in the line of the ball defender, not by any stretch of the part. So for me, he's not that left-sided central defender role. We got Longley in for that anyway.
Yeah.
If we're going for Torres, like I said, it would be instead of Dyer. I wouldn't be against it, but he has turned us down. And for me, that instantly drops the priority on him down a long way. Because if a player doesn't want to come see it, no matter what the reason is, if their heart wasn't set on it in the first place, you've got to question how much they're going to really give for your team then. If he was mad to come for us in the first place, some players are still, then it's a different story. But I can't forgive him wanting to go to Man United because he's not brought up in this country. He's going to know Manchester United more than he'll know our name because, they had those decades with Alex Ferguson. They built incredible renown across the world while we were pretty much in a slumber at the time. So a lot of players are still going to have those memories of a club like Manchester United. We need to get ourselves up to that level of prowess and world renown. We're doing a pretty good job of it, considering our lowly status in recent times. But I just don't want to throw in with a player that's not mad on us, and he doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, like that, mate. Like that. And Dave, how do you feel about the Pau Torres deal? Do you think would you be okay having signed Longley? Is there any need to sign Pau Torres as well, or do you think Longley could play in the centre, or do you think we should be focusing all of our attention right now on going a central centre back like a Bremer or somebody else?
Yeah, for me, I do like Pau Torres. I do
That's
like
better.
Oh, you connected to the internet? And
yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Much better.
Well done.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm not technical. Go on, David.
Finish your point, Dave, and then we're going to come to
Ellie. We're wrapping up now, aren't we, Sean?
Yeah, no, I was just saying about Pau Torres. Look, I do like him. I think, on the ball, he's brilliant. That's why we've targeting him, Bastoni, Gavardia. But, look, I think we loaned in Langley so that we could really try and pursue a Bastoni or Gavardia when it becomes available. And so for me, I would much rather hold out for one of them. But look, if we can't get in another centre back, I would probably bring him in and then, let Langley cover the centre as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of having my heart set on Bastoni, if I'm being honest with you. I really want him.
So I think it's going to happen.
2 years left on his contract. I mean, if it doesn't happen this summer, even though Inter still need to sell, you can go again in January if he hasn't signed a new one, because it's the last chance they'll get a proper fee for the guy. Yeah. So for me, I think we're probably waiting to see what happens on that situation. I wouldn't be surprised if we've kind of left the Pau Torres camp, because it's been 2 summers now we've trying to get him and he hasn't really wanted to come. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's just kind of paper talk to keep us occupied today.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, there's not much news, so I just thought I'd bring it up. I dragged the very bottom of the barrel to find any kind of other news to talk about.
I know it's like
2.5 hours already. Ellie, welcome to the show on the 97th attempt. Well done.
I know. Sorry, I'm not really technical, but David phoned me and told me what to do.
Well done, well done, Dave. Well done, Dave.
I know.
It out.
He's not just an Irish Hotspur, is he? He's the technical man. Yeah.
I'm not.
What do you want my opinion on?
Well, take your pick. We can talk about
internet packages.
the best special offer in Wi-Fi across the UK.
I'm all right on the Irish Hotspur. I'll never cut out on his show.
Before you cut
it's
out
true,
again.
isn't it, David? I'm always on your show. It never cuts off. Only if somebody phones me.
Before it happens again,
go on.
Let's talk about. We're talking right now about the idea of signing a left-sided centre back. Do you want Pau Torres to come in, or do you think the fact that we signed Longley and we've already got Ben Davies means we should focus maybe a bit more centrally in the defence?
No.
Also, I want to hear your opinion on Richarlison as well. So one after the other.
Yeah, I had an idea about Richarlison, right? So we play him in Kulu's position and drop Kulu as a right wing back and get him versed up, because he's really good at defending. He's so good at defending and tracking back, and he's strong, and he can bring the ball up successfully, and he can cross. True. So we play. Yeah. That's one option if we don't get this Jed Spence over the line. But even him, he's a rookie, so I'm not really. I like the idea of him coming in under somebody else and learning, and giving him the League Cup and the FA Cup games possibly, and then keeping our strong team, our strong 11 for the Premiership and the Champions League, so they're fresher, and rotating those two. Like I like the idea of Richarlison starting as well, because it will give us more goals. And also,
let me ask this, Kelly. Ellie, let me ask you. I say this question for you specifically, and I want to. I'll come to you, and then I'm going to give the other guys a chance to answer. Do you think there is any chance at all where you see all 4 of Sonny, Kulu, Kane, and Richarlison playing in the same team at the same time?
Yeah, I do. It's a very good idea as well, because we'll have so many attacking options. Because Richarlison can move around. He's not a one-trick pony. He's very versatile. He can take the middle. He can take the right. He can switch to the left, and he can rotate. Especially if one of them's having a bit of a stinker, and then he takes up that role and gets Kane to be a proper number 9 rather than a number 10. But obviously Kane, he's a fantastic footballer. We all know this. When he drops deep and he picks up the ball, he's fantastic, and his passing is. It's not always 100%, but when he gets it right, he actually gets it right. Harry Kane, when he does that killer pass, it's always on point, and 95% of the time it leads to a goal because it's such a good pass. So I'm happy with them all 4 playing. Yes.
Interesting. Coov, do you ever see a situation where all 4 can fit in at the same time? Is it only for special occasions when we're chasing a game, or do you think that Harry Kane can pull deep enough back into the 10 and then allow the other 3 to play in the same formation, a 3-4-3, or maybe it goes to a 3-5-2 or a 3-2-4-1 or whatever? What do you see?
Well, there you go. That's exactly why we got Richarlison. We've now got all these options. That was why it's so important from my point of view. Of course I can see all 4 of them play at the same time. I think the most natural way for that would be Richarlison playing the out-and-out 9 and Kane doing what Kane currently does, which is to drop deep, pick out the killer passes, and get into the box late as well. It'll be what we're currently doing, but also having a focal point of a number 9 in the box at the same time. I think it's a fantastic option to have. In fact, maybe that's how we'll be setting up at some point.
Yeah. A lot of people agree in the comments. A lot of people saying 100%, 100% in different styles. Some people are saying they want to see Kulu play in the cam role. You're saying you'd see Kane doing that, would you?
Kulu could do that as well. That's what I'm talking about. It's options. We could have Richarlison drift out to the wide right if needed be, and Kulu in the middle, Kane up front, swap it around a bit, keep teams guessing, even rotate a little bit during the game like we did under Pochettino, where the positions became very fluid. It's things now we can do that we certainly couldn't do last season, because Dane Scarlett, as much as a talent as he could be in the future, he's not ready to take on that role. There's no way he could have come in and done what Richarlison can offer. Just not ready for it, and we didn't have the setup for it. This is exciting times, I think. It's why if you then, for me, although it's most likely we'll keep hold of Lucas Moura, it's his last year at the club. I think he wants to go back to Brazil then, so it's likely we're going to keep him. But if we were to replace him with the likes of Depay's name's getting mentioned, but it doesn't have to be him. But if we got another player of that style, another sort of loosely forward role, it doesn't have to necessarily be tied down to one position. Another bit of versatility, just a really good attacking threat with a few goals in them, a few assists in them. I think we'd have a lot of balance, a lot of versatility up front, and it will be very, very healthy for competition and cover and resting players when we need to. And you wouldn't have Kane and Son having to play every single game this season. I think it's an incredibly useful thing for us to do. Let's see it. I think there's definitely the opportunity to play all four.
It's amazing, actually, Dave. I wasn't surprised. I was asking the question a little bit in jest, if I'm entirely honest. I was like, I thought I'd save it, and but like Ellie's up for it, Coov's up for it.
Yeah.
The comments are largely up for it, apart from Bone Star 2K. Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you before. Welcome to the channel. He says, "Lol, so Spursy."
That's an interesting name.
We signed a couple of players and we tried to cram them all into the same team. We signed Richarlison for rotation. I get that. I do get that. 100% get that. I'm just throwing it out there. But a lot of people seem to be okay with the concept. Like, Dave, do you think there could be times where you see all four players on the pitch at the same time?
I think so. I think, look, largely, if we're going off the way Conte played last season, look, now we don't know what way he's going to play going into the new season. So many different options, formations, and it doesn't matter what way he goes. There's enough quality to be able to fill it all. But if we're going off the way we were playing last season, I don't think it will necessarily start like that. I think it'll make the team a bit unbalanced if you start like that. Well, I think what it will do is if maybe we're lacking to get the actual ball into the forward line, any sort of quality ball whatsoever, then what you have the option doing is taking Harry Kane off, getting him to drop into a deeper position. And look, everyone spoke about this about Harry Kane, that eventually the longer his career goes on, the further he can drop back because of his passing range. He's a bit like a quarterback at times.
Like Wayne
so
Rooney
what can
did.
happen? Yeah, what can happen is that he can drop deep. He can be the one to get on the ball, and he can be the one to get to the ball to Son, Richarlison, Kulu. If Kulu's having a bad game, his first touches and on, you can put Perisic out there. You've so many different options, but I think it'll more happen as a needs must in the game rather than actually starting the game like that, unless he switches to a 4-4-2 or whatever he may play. But I think it would be more so necessity to the game. And what it does then is you can get Kane to drop back. And we all know his range of passing. You've seen the guy hit 50, 60-yard balls dropping down onto Sonny's feet. So he's unbelievable range of passing. But a bit like what Cooper said, he took my answer, really, to be honest with you. But when Kane drops deep, we had no focal point. But with Richarlison being on there, then you still have that focal point, but with Kane's passing. Like, we even seen it under Nuno at times when Kane was dropping deep. It's all well and good Kane dropping deep against the ball to Son or whoever may be there, but they're isolated. There's no one in the box there to put the ball into, to wrap the ball around the back, to get someone to run onto. And that's what Richarlison does. And I think it would be more so adapted to the game rather than actually starting like that. But Kuva made the most crucial point. Ellie started it off, by the way, but Kuva made the crucial point about there still being a vocal point with Richarlison up there and getting Kane to drop back and do all these other duties, because Conte said it in the 202 days that Kane can do that. He prefers him. Like, ultimately, his first job is to be a striker, but, depending on Kane's feeling, he has the license to be able to drop back, get on the ball and make things happen.
Yeah, love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe you guys are twisting my rubber arm a little bit on Richarlison with that answer. Maybe I'm finding a little bit more reason in my rationale to think that he can play more minutes without having to disrupt other people's. Boys and girls, in the comments, we are 4 away from 200 likes, and there's still 275 people that are watching. If you could, just wouldn't mind anyone that hasn't already, just hit the like button. And I'm going to ask the guys the last question of the show, which is this. I'm going to start with you, Ellie. I'm going to work my way around anti-clockwise. Ellie, if there is one major marquee signing, doesn't have to be value-based. It just be like the name that comes in that gets everybody doing this, doing this, all for the rest of the summer. Who is it? And it can't be Hakimi. I'm not asking you to give me. I'm like, not Hakimi.
No.
And I'm also going to say not Bastoni or Gvardiol. Okay.
No.
So those
I'm
three,
going to surprise you
names,
all now.
Those 3 names are
I
out.
got a good one. I'm
going to surprise you all now.
Who's your marquee signing, Ellie? Go for it. And justify it.
I'm going to surprise you all now. There's a fantastic right back called Minola. Right, I've mentioned him before, so it's not a big surprise to everybody who's heard me talk before.
Who?
Because
sorry, what's his name?
This
what's his name?
Minola, he plays for Udinese. He's a right back, but he can attack.
Oh, yeah.
He scores goals as well. He scored 8 goals.
Molina, yeah.
Yeah. He scores goals. He scored 8 in the Serie A, and he scored 2 for Argentina already. So that's 10 goals from right back position. That's what a striker, like an average striker, would score 10 goals. So he's doing it from right back, and he's a fantastic player, Sean. He's got skills. He's tough. He's strong. Awesome. He's built like a tank. He's fit. He's got an engine like Walker and Rose used to have, and he can bomb down the wing and bring the ball for us. He's comfortable on the ball as well, and his passing is really fantastic. You watch him on YouTube; he's absolutely brilliant.
He's an awesome player. He's a great player. He's
an awesome player,
and he won't cost that much. He wouldn't cost.
He won't.
Udinese
would probably want about 25-30 million maximum.
And one last very big tick to go in another box. He's Argentinian, so he'll enjoy the link up with Romero.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a little bit worried about how many
tough
South
like
Americans.
Romero as well.
We got a lot of South
That's
Americans in our
fine.
squad right now, haven't we?
They're the best footballers in the world, Sean.
Yeah.
No, they are. They are
They're
until
the best footballers in the world, the Argentinians.
No, and it's great to have them until they have to go for their friendlies during mid-season, and they have to go and spend 6 weeks on like doing 15-hour journeys and all that crap.
That's where Conte will be different with them. Conte's got to get tougher on them, Sean. Hasn't he? Conte's got to bring the hammer down on them. Make sure if they 100%. don't behave, they're not going to be Spurs. Sorry.
No, I get it, and I love it. So Molina's your marquee signing.
Molina's
your and I love Molina. He'd be a great player. I'd be super excited about getting him. Dave, I'll come to you next. Who's your marquee signing?
I'm going to base this. I'm going to base this on the needs most, and for me, it's Matheus de Ligt, player I've really been fond of. Really fond of him at Ajax. Brilliant at Juve, an absolute colossus in the air, defensively and offensively. And for me, I think de Ligt is one I really like. Look, Ajax players, they usually have very, very good schooling as well, coming right through the academy. And for me, he'd be the number one. I think that would transform our defense. I think that would be like, we're here, we're a statement of intent. So for me, I think it'd definitely be Matheus de Ligt. So there's a lot of problems for me.
Love that as well. Yeah, that would get my.
give me. I'm not going to lie. It give me an absolute raging hard on.
I was just going to say it would create a tent in my bed every evening.
Whose is bigger? When he signs, we'll have to have a competition. Who's bigger?
Probably yours, if I'm honest. Probably yours.
Don't know about that. You'd have competition there, lad. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ellie.
I've never had two people like compete on who's got the lowest tent. That's fucking funny.
You don't even need ground pegs for mine, lad.
That made me laugh. That made me laugh a lot. Ellie, I'm putting you on mute quickly because your microphone's gone. You're going haywire again. So I'm just unmute yourself when we come to speak in a second, mate. Delict for me, yeah, love that guy. I'd also take De Vrij for what it's worth. Not to focus on the two names, but Delict obviously would be. I think you might be going to Chelsea, which would be a shame. But I don't know why we're not putting in the bid. Go and do that one for 60 million, 70 million. That for me is like bang, Marquee signing. See what happens there. Kuba, over to you, my friend. A lot of people, sorry, Kuba, 1 second. A lot of people giving a lot of love to Ellie. Ellie knows ball. Ellie does know ball. 100% you do,
right,
Ellie. 100% you do. I'm using you, but your microphone's still crackling, so I'm going to put you back on mute again. But Ellie, everyone's loving your option in the thing there in the comments. Dave's choice is Delict. Kuba, who do you want to go for, bro?
David stole my choice.
Oh, you were going to Delict as well, were you?
Wow. Yeah. Well, one of the reasons a lot of fans don't want to see Dyer dispensed with is that there's pointing out his leadership qualities, the fact he organises. Delict is better at doing it than he is.
Bigger leader,
natural leader, and way better footballer. It'd be an awesome signing, but that is dream world. I think I'm going to actually have to go with what a lot of people are saying in the comments as well. I'm going to go James Maddison because
a lot of people saying that.
Not only does he fill that that creative role, and he's got bags of talent at doing that. Takes a great free kick as well. He does feel that English quota need as well. So it gives him an extra sort of edge to the blade. But I think he's a bloody good player regardless of that. Really would offer a lot. And then we're talking about versatility and being able to change things up front. That takes the pressure off Kane having to drop back and be the creative outlet in the middle. So that gives us so many attacking options bringing him in.
Yeah.
But there, for me, I'd have to agree with David. For me, Delict would be just absolutely stupendous.
AMAC is saying Delict's going to Bayern Munich. That's interesting. I thought he was going to Chelsea, actually. But yeah, there's been no links with Tottenham for that one. Maybe that's a step too far. Who knows?
Look, Paratici worked at Inter or at Juve. You just never know.
There we go. Double swoop on Leicester though. Maddison and Pereira.
Oh.
I'm all about double swoops. I love double swoops, double dipping. Let me ask you guys this. Actually, this is the last question now. Then let me ask you this.
Last question, right?
Daniel Levy has been involved more than most people would want. He's been. I think he was the guy who finally went and got the business done with Bill Kenwright for Richarlison. He's certainly the guy that apparently was dealing with Jed Spence. He's also the guy that wasn't happy with the price or the structure of the Bergwijn deal. I think it was Paratici who organised it, took it back to Daniel Levy to get his signature, and Daniel Levy wasn't happy with it. But it's been done anyway. So on one hand, we're seeing Daniel Levy struggling to get the deal done. Same old Levy being whatever the Levy version of Levy we think of him as, not getting Spence done. But despite Paratici giving him a deal with Bergwijn that wasn't, in his eyes, acceptable, it was signed off. What is Paratici doing? So I've asked the last question, who's your dream signing? Who's your marquee signing? My last question for you all is, what is the next Paratici Salt Bay signing? Because he's been a little bit quiet, right? We haven't seen much. Is he doing things?
He's in Italy. He's back and forth in Italy.
Is he dealing with outgoings now, or is he still focusing on incomings? Yeah, so who's it going to be? Kuva, I'll reverse the order to you first, buddy. Who's Paratici's next big signing going to be? Is it one out or one in? And who, if so, who?
Keeps going back to Italy for a reason, doesn't he? I've got to think there's something happening on the right wing back front there. There's a lot of targets there that we could be going for. Really is. There's difficulty getting some of these centre backs who are all drooling over Bastoni, Bremer. There's reasons for them not coming. De Ligt again was just going to be insanely high price. And if the likes of Bayern Munich are trying to get in, you've got to say they're probably going to be favourites to get him as well. Because as much as we love our clubs, some clubs are just doing better. So I think it's going to be a right back. But as for who, I don't know. It kind of fits in with my gut instinct that maybe Emerson was on the way out after all. And we're looking at the Jed Spence and the experienced one from Italy, or are we looking at that other theory of Jed Spence is just one big smoke screen and we're actually going for somebody a lot more higher caliber from Italy? I think it's got to be a right back though. It looks the most obvious one for me, especially since we've now confirmed Longley as a defensive cover.
So it's one in. It's not one out. He's not focusing on getting rid of Tanganga. He's not focusing on getting rid of Lo Celso or Endon Fat.
Yes. I'm sure he's trying to weigh up options for all of that. I mean, talking about Tanganga earlier, he'd do really well with a loan in Italy if he can get one. Perhaps Ndombele might be able to find a home in Italy too. He might be killing several birds with one stone there. Let's hope so. But I do believe one player will be coming in, and I think it's going to be a right wing back.
Do you know what? For me, right, I look at it. I've seen similarities in Paratici's work. As we all know, I study Paratici, favorite subject every day, all day, every day of the week. But look, for me, when it comes to Paratici, right, you look at it. Tommy Asu all last summer. Romero comes out of left field. He's in. Adama Traore and Amrabat from that Fiorentina. All January transfer window. Kulusevski, Bentancur come in. Spence, all this window. Wouldn't surprise me if he's out cooking out something in Italy. That's why he's out there, in my opinion. Look at it. A lot of talk about Bremer. Still hasn't signed for Inter.
Yeah.
They still have to sell players. Bastoni is still a possibility. I also seen a report the other day, and I didn't comment on it because I didn't know how true it was, but this gets me excited, that Juve were potentially looking at Emerson. Now, if Juve are looking at Emerson and the lit is in the market, who knows? And these big deals...
That's double tent pole. That's me holding my tent pole up a little bit so I can get some room.
It's gone from 6 to 7, lad. It's stretching. But, look... For me, I look at the way he conducts his business, and we know this. He always does this. Look over here, not over here. Christian Eriksen, all this summer, Basuma comes in out of nowhere. Absolutely unbelievable. And the way he operates. So for me, I just look at that. Maybe potentially are you very interested in Emerson? Could we get him over there, take some money off the De Ligt transfer, pay 60 million, get him in? It may be a dream, but I think he's definitely working on something. And big signings take a hell of a lot of time to get done.
They do.
So let's wait and see. But I think something's cooking. I really do.
Holy shit. So not only is Dave's answer to what's your tentpole signing is De Ligt, he's also answering what's your next Salt Bay cooking. It's also a tentpole response. I love it. Ellie, over to you for your tentpole from Paratici. Who is your most likely big? What's Paratici cooking? What was it like? Is it Italian? Is it
He's
like
cooking.
meatballs? Or is it French? Is it a little bit of like seafood? What are we doing here?
I'm with David. I think he's got one big signing to do, and he's working on it. That's why he's staying in Italy. He's just waiting for everything else to cook, put it to one side once that bit's cooked, with the other clubs doing their cooking, and then he's going to swoop. and I'm thinking it's going to be Bremer because
Bremer,
he wants
okay.
to go for it. Yeah, I'm thinking it's him because his stats in a lot of areas are better than Bastoni's, right? And he's strong. He's a strong guy, and he's probably a little bit more experienced as well. So I think it's going to be him because he wants Italian citizenship, and they've got to work on how to do it for him. You know, because I think somebody said, I think it was Danny Keriakou.
Yeah.
I think it was him who said that he has to
6 more
work
months.
on.
For his
But if they buy him a property over there, apparently you can get Italian citizenship.
Yeah, I've heard.
I believe. I don't know
right.
how true that is, but if it is, then just get him a property and get him over. If not, Bastoni, because he'll be the second best. Not Pau Torres, Bastoni. Yeah, because we need the left wing back. I think because right wing back. It's going to be difficult because you'll have to play over 100 million to get a decent right wing back. And will Spurs do that? No, I don't think so. Either that or my choice, Molina at right back.
I like Molina as well. But very good, Ellie. Kev G is saying tent pole. It's a bloody marquee. Not anymore. From now on, it's what is your tent pole signing?
Mine's still a marquee, but it's not for all the good reasons. It's just because I've got a big belly.
100%.
I think we've all got a big belly.
I was looking at this, and I was thinking this is like I thought this was like a spam, but maybe it's not a spam. It's just Bobspur. Naked Kuma smothered in hummus. 50p. Yeah,
this is outrageous. There's nothing cheap about my leapfrog game.
I'm sure this is Bob Spur's fantasy. Cooper, don't go anywhere near Bobby, all right?
I do question though. It is 9 o'clock on a Saturday evening and Bob's thinking about Cooper smothering in hummus.
Yeah, Bob,
Saturday night.
Are you sure you didn't get hacked, Bob?
Saturday night, and you like the way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to finish it up there. I'm going to hand over now to my wonderful 4 people from the panel and give them their chance to. Well, first of all, thank you very much, boys.
Sorry, what's really good is Bob Spur doesn't realise how close he was to getting banned. Then
I know I was this close as well. This close, Bob. I was like, first of all, I was like, what the fuck? Boys and girls, thank you everyone on the panel for being here. All you guys are absolutely amazing. You made the show great. It's been 300 people or more for pretty much the whole show. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell. And lastly, if you are someone who plays Premier Fantasy League, then grab that little code at the end, AF61M7, and do join my league. There's no cost to enter, but I will happily banter about this on every show during the season, and then we'll give whoever wins a nice prize, a signed shirt, or not a signed shirt, a shirt with the numbers and the names on the back. Kuba, I'll come to you first, mate. What channel do you? I know what channel it's going to be, but talk about what's happening on Bob Spur this evening.
No, I'm not going to anymore. He's ruined it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, in the wall, 10:45 as usual. Me and Ben Kaufman will be hosting it in Bob's absence. He'll probably be on later, quite drunk by that point. We'll be doing the usual stuff. We're going to be doing spot the player, wankety wank, of course, all the favourites. And
yeah, I love that.
And just to wind down from the days, from the weeks to talk about football, because although we'll start off with a little bit of chat that way, it always ends up into the silly games and just blow off a bit of steam.
100%. Nice one, mate. Everyone,
get over there. I thought you were going to say wind down.
Go on, Ellie. Sorry.
I thought you were going to say wind down from the days of yore.
Yeah, why not? Let's go with that.
Yore. You heard
thus
of that?
Far, the days of yore, thus far. Good fun. Get over to Bobspur TV. The link is in the chat. Link is in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, please get over there and support Ben and Kuba when they're hosting on Bob Spurs channel. And Bob Spurs, I hope you have a good night, mate. Whatever you're doing with Kim, have fun. Dave, your link is in the chat, my friend. What is happening on Irish Hotspur coming up real soon? And thank you so much for coming on the show, bro. Actually, given what happened a couple of days ago, it means the world that you came on. Obviously, it shows that we're all good again. So I appreciate you, mate.
Nah, look, lad, it was fucking sorted out in a phone call after, my man. Do not look, it happens. Look, it happens, my man. You know what I mean? It happens, brother. We're both passionate Spurs fans. We both stick by our point and believe in it, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. Yeah, look, on my show, what's coming up, you'll find Kuva naked with hummus. We'll be doing a bait show tomorrow. Ellie be on. I'm not sure who else I have lined up yet, but we'll do a panel show, and yeah, hopefully just have a good discussion on a lot of topics that I come up with.
Amazing, mate. Amazing. 100%, mate. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's just, I'm glad we betted it early. I don't know if you saw the start of the show, but I did raise it this morning.
No, I didn't.
Well, you see, I had like a 2-minute homage to my behaviour over the last week. Hasn't been particularly impressive on my part, so I'm looking better. Oh, Ellie's disappeared. I was about to give her the chance to promote any channel she wanted.
Tottenham Tantrum. I think she's on Tottenham Gold tomorrow. I think so. That'd be the one. I should be
9 o'clock tomorrow night. Tottenham Gold, and they're doing a player profile on Richarlison. So I'm sure Sean will be racing over there to see every minute of that and lapping it up.
Did you ever see that gif of Forrest Gump sprinting out the driveway? That would be Sean.
It doesn't matter if he's forgotten his trousers.
You got every show that I do of late. I'm starting to loosen up my opinion on him as that. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And I won't celebrate
chicken
being wrong.
dance is happening on Shawnee's next season.
Yeah, no, I already owe myself apparently a slap around the face of a salmon for being wrong about the fella Lingard playing in left wing back. I probably am going to have to, if he scores 15 goals or more, shave my head in the fashion of Richarlison. And I'll be doing this throughout the season with my hands up saying, I got it wrong. I got it fucking wrong like a pigeon. And I hope
while playing the guitar and singing chick, 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 chicken.
100%. All right, Ellie, thank you so much for coming on. Dave, thank you so much for coming on. Kuba, thank you so much for coming on. Before we let go, I just got to call out the people who gave the super chats. M Laser, I didn't call this out, but I saw it and we were talking about that at the very same point. Thank you so much for the super chat. To Brian Timlin, new member, my friend, come on next time. That the link is on in the community section or in the show. It just wasn't available today, but I really appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for joining and showing your support. To my man, Benny Boy, good luck this evening, buddy. I'm looking forward to the show, and I'll be watching with great intent. To Kerry and McDonald, again, my friend, I'm sorry I missed out on your initial your super chat, but thank you so much for both. To Colin, love you, man. Didn't get a chance to have you on earlier, but love it. And to Sebastian Wolf, to Loves Music, to Benedict Hampus. Sorry, not Hummus. I was thinking about
think about Kuba.
That's hilarious.
Benedict Hampus will not be smothered all over Kuva later.
And to the 62 new subscribers that we got today, every single show we get more than 50 new subscribers. It's absolutely fucking rocking. I love it. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tolerating me and Kuva and Dave and Ellie today. Hope you had a good time. Enjoy your Saturday night. Get over to Bob Spurs in an hour and 45. Is it 10:45? Kuv?
Yeah.
Okay. Get over there soon, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your Sunday. Wear some sunscreen because it's hot out there. Love you all. And as always, oh, bye-bye.